Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way oh, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way oh, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way oh, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way oh, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way oh the sea of souls, hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way oh the sea of souls, hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Hello. Welcome to the Sea of Souls, brought to you by the Elder Brain. That's us. We are the Elder Brain. Thank you for joining us for our continuing saga, the Sea of Souls, as we sail for adventure. And who knows what else is going to happen, because it's Dungeons and Dragons and all kinds of crazy things can happen. And shenanigans, most likely, will continue to happen, especially knowing these guys. So, welcome. I'm excited for tonight's episode. If you missed last time, it was exciting. There was some intense happenings and goings on. And to recap, as the Intrepid Devil was continuing its journey south from the port of the Ivory Spire, heading towards Porto de Arias, also known as the Port of Sands, to meet with a compatriot of Captain Boone regarding the acquisition of dragon scales by the Ivory Spire. He had mentioned that this individual might be interested to know that. Once they passed through the Archipelago, I think I got away with a different one that time. Archipelago? I haven't heard it pronounced that way yet. So we'll stick with that for this evening. Getting out of the Sea of Souls and into a much more open and calm sea. They were delighted to see some non-threatening local wildlife, some sharks swimming around, spotted some orca on a journey south, seemingly fleeing something, before they caught sight of red sails on the horizon, closing in fast. At first thinking that this was a ship of the dreaded Redwater pirates. But as the ship drew closer after cannon fire was exchanged, including some ingenious magicking by our ship wizard on one cannonball in particular, the crew turned out to be less pirate and more monstrous, with a little bit of strange abyssal magic and connections. There was some undeadness, some tentacliness and stuff going on, and after a fake parlay and a captain's challenge, the crew of this other ship broke into the rowing deck of the Intrepid Devil and began to tear it and the crew apart. The Intrepid Devil was successful in destroying the invaders and the invading ship, but has been left badly damaged, with a lot of crew dead, others injured, and unsure of how the voyage will continue this point on. And that is where we pick up. So, gentlemen, after the fight is done and the captain has done a little bit of survey of the ship and the crew that remains, he brings you the bad news that you currently do not have enough crew to successfully sail the ship, meaning that you'll basically be limping forwards at this point. On top of that, the ship itself has suffered significant damage when the invaders essentially tore into the bottom decks. Much of the rot that seemed to have been on them and kind of coming off of them seems to have seeped into your ship as well and has started to erode the lower decks. And if you know anything about ships, if you don't have lower decks,
you don't have a ship.
You don't have a ship, yeah.
You don't have a ship. Hard to sail with holes. So the ship is starting to list and is taking on water, and the outlook is not looking good.
Remind me what's going on with all of the bodies of our former crew?
Ooh,
So
that's a good question.
I believe that there had been some inspections done as we're trying to find out who we could possibly heal. Those, none of them are rising. You don't see any like undead coming out of them, whatever. But the ones who are dead, there are quite a few down the rowing deck. Most of the crew that were on that deck had been slain. Their bodies are seemingly decaying at a rapid pace, quicker than usual. There seems to be some sort of rot that has carried over from those who inflicted the wounds on them and killed them, and the rot is spreading. And so that is the situation you find yourselves in.
Great.
It was
Captain Boone draws you onto the deck, kind of somber, looking up much more morose than any of you have really seen him. He tends to take a lot of things in stride. You know, he's seen a lot in his years at sea, but there's definitely a heaviness, a sorrow to him, and you can kind of see the dark under his eyes as he kind of calls you to the deck and just very kind of bluntly matter of fact, just says right out to you, we ain't gonna make it to Porto Darius, lads. We're gonna have to try to make for land as close as we possibly can. I fear that the Intrepid Devil may have seen her last days. Unless we can ground her and beach her up on somewhere and come back with the crew to fix her up right, which is a possibility depending on how quick we can find a good sandy shore. Lots of rocks around here, so our options are few, but it's possible. That'd be my preferred course of action if it can be done, but we need to sail as close as we can, and if she starts going down, we get in the rowboats and we continue on, but outlook ain't so good, my friends.
How close do you figure we are, Captain? Like, on foot, how long is it going to take us to get to the port to get some crew or help or whatever?
So I'll bring you over. So you guys are just kind of on the eastern side of Port of Sands, kind of where this cove in here is, and there's kind of island in there. And so he's kind of pointing in that direction, like, make the land as close as we can. And he says, once we make landfall, that's the first part. We got to get to land. From there, it won't be too hard. Travel is pretty quick. Now, there are a few types of dangerous creatures that roam the Isle of Sands outside of the port we might have to contend with, as well as, bandits and smugglers and the like that have been forced out of town, and so they tend to make their way along the coast, hoping for such pickings as these. But once we get to land, we're probably looking at about maybe a couple of days walk through the jungle and the dunes to get to port. So not too bad. I think we've got enough supplies that we can salvage for most of us, at least.
I mean, if there's bandits and other crap roaming the beaches, is there any point in leaving the ship?
Well, that's a good question there, Dinar, and it all depends on the shape that our ship is in. If she's in really good shape and we beach her, well, somebody might beat us to trying to salvage it and sail it off. But if we pretty much crash her into the beach and she ain't going anywhere without some serious repairs, we might get a few coming to check it out, maybe trying to salvage what they can, taking some bits of iron here and there, and looking for any goods and the like. But rest assured that if we crash, it'll probably still be there if we ever come back, if it's worth coming back to. That'll be the other question we got to answer after. But right now she's she's sinking slowly, and soon she's going to be sinking quickly. And we oughta get her as close to land as we can. Otherwise, she's going to become a wreck on the bottom of the ocean, and that'll be that.
You heard the captain. Let's get this tub to shore.
Now we're short crew, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you gents to pitch in mighty hard. Normally leave most of the rigging and the like to my crew, and you know, kind of keep us safe, but as it is right now, it's definitely all hands, so something needs done. I'm going to be expecting you to do it.
Well, we'll fill in as we can.
Just point the way, Captain. I don't want to be swimming home, thanks.
Not all of us can breathe water and swim like a friend Torque here, but...
Well, actually, now we can.
Well, I know that I can't, unless you're not telling me. I don't.
If I'm just saying, Cap, if it comes to
gills.
that, I can now grant us the ability to do that.
Perhaps we can have this conversation when we're not sinking.
Yes, good call, Torque.
That would be preferable, indeed. So,
We're already lumbering off to do whatever needs to be done.
All right. So, first thing we need to do here, gents, is we need to get a good idea of where we're headed. Flick, if you can get up to the crow's nest there and see what you can see as far as you can see along the coast there. I know there's an island not too far off. I mean, that's kind of, if we can't get any further, at least we can get to an island and, you know, kind of get stuff off the ship and recollect there. But I'd prefer to get to the coast if we can. We need to find a good spot, preferably a beach that we can ram our ship right onto. But
All right, scampering up to the
I'll take pretty much anything at this point.
Flick's den in the crow's nest. Let's see what we got.
All right.
Perception. Ooh, with my shiny new +3 proficiency bonus, this would be so much better.
Hey.
Hey, look at that.
All right. So looking out at the coast of the Isle of Sands, despite its name, the coast in this area does tend to be rather rocky. There are quite a few cliffs. You can see a lot of coves and caves and stuff along the shoreline. Looking farther kind of down to the south, you do see some stretches of beach that will probably be the furthest away. It's a fairly straight sail, providing you don't get any crosswinds or anything like that would slow you down. If you get slowed down at all, I'd say just from where you are looking, you gather it's probably be pretty hard to make. Probably looking at about 5 or 6 hours just to get to that far south. But you do see the island that Captain Moon was talking about. It's probably about 3 hours away, and then the shore kind of directly past that, probably about another hour and a bit.
Leave the wind to me.
The shore beyond the island looks fairly rocky.
So we've got this island here is the one,
Indeed.
and then sandy shore sort of here-ish. Is that what we're saying?
And then somewhat rocky. There are you can see like some spots where there's small beaches. It's not like long flat beach. It's like rocks, cliffs, and there's like there's a little bit of a cove and a beach. But you'd have to be pretty precise and getting through the tide, not knowing how deep the water is there either at this point.
What is the island like actually? Like, is it sandy or is it?
From what you can see, it's pretty flat and sandy and bare. You can see a couple of scrub trees here and there. It almost looks like it's more of a sandbar than a true island. It's quite low, quite close to sea level.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if, because the island sounded ideal to me because bandits wanted to wander onto the ship around the island. But if there's not enough like in my head, I was thinking leave the crew behind to work on the ship, and then just we go and get supplies and help. But it sounds like we might be just scuttling her, and everyone goes, and we'll sort out what happens later.
Give me a nature check.
Nature. Ooh, I am. Oh,
Hey.
Hacha!
Hey.
Yeah, I'd say you gather there's probably enough beachfront property, so to speak, to that you'd be able to beach the ship, and assuming that the tide doesn't rise too high, which from the look of some of the sparse vegetation on certain spots of the islands, not all of it gets submerged, so it could be possible to successfully beach the ship there and have it stay put.
We'll see how we fare. I will at least fill the captain in on my line of thinking here that we're gonna get fewer scavengers out here on this little sandbar. It means that we're more committed to returning to the ship if we're gonna leave anyone back to man it, or we bring everyone ashore and we just assume that she'll be there when we get back. It's a bit more muscle work to get into shore in the launches, but the ship will be safer out there.
Well,
Forgive me if I missed this, but what is the crew that we have left? Isn't it just Lefty, Shorty, and the captain?
I mean, pretty much. There's a couple of no names they haven't named yet. Well, at least Flick hasn't named yet. So maybe Righty and like Stumpy or something. I don't know.
Joe.
Was it Righty and Shorty?
There's
Lefty?
three,
Lefty,
including
okay.
the captain. There are 3 in full health. You've got about 3
We
to
got
4 gravely
Tony
injured.
Meatballs, Big Dave, Small Dave, Medium Dave,
Yeah.
Chicken
Dave.
Wire.
There's 3 to 4 that are gravely injured.
Scuzzy
You've
Pete.
lost a cook. You've lost your bosun, your shipwright.
Hmm.
And then there's the 4 of you. So the ship needs a minimum of 10 to actually sail adequately, and you're technically with the injured crew, you can kind of make that, but they're not at full functioning ability, so you're falling a little short.
I sure
So
hope there are some.
Basically, this is a less than sailing and more like let's just point it in that direction and get there before she sinks.
Well, I sure hope that there are some lovable NPCs looking for work in the next town.
It's assuming she doesn't sink before we get there, because
Sailing
that
into
is
a
an option.
pirate
Because
port?
isn't the hull rotting away as we speak?
There was some damage. If you want to do a closer inspection,
I think that's Dinar's gonna. Well, I mean, unless he's needed up top, he's gonna take a look at what is pulling us into the sea.
okay. So to get the ship kind of pointed in the right direction and get the sails functional, it does require everybody, like all of you, kind of on the rigging, on the ropes, getting everything situated. So that's probably going to be your first hour or so, is doing all that. After which point, once the ship is kind of pointed in the right direction, it might be a little bit easier to go and do some inspections, which the captain would actually be in favor of. But the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do a ship morale check, essentially, which is very, very your crew morale modifier is non-existent at the moment. It was high enough that it's not all the way down to the negatives, but it's almost there. So it's basically a DC. You're rolling a D20, and I will allow for you guys to creatively assist and think of ways you might be able to assist in getting the crew going. But
I wonder how the bard could raise money.
there is no ship, there is no base modifier to add at the moment because you don't really have much of a crew.
You know, and I could have taken, I think I had the option to take major image, and I didn't, because I'm like, why would I need that?
Help us not drown.
So, if I may, since I'm the charisma boy, I would like to cast Unearthly Chorus which music of a style I choose fills the air around me in a 30-foot radius. It can be heard up to 100 feet away. It basically gives me an a cappella band.
Oh.
Now, technically, it also allows me to beguile one creature per bonus action within 30 feet of me. They have to make a charisma saving throw, and then they become beguiled. But that's neither here nor there. The point being, I'd like to use that spell to enhance a performance. And Talon's not going to go with his normal sort of cheery, uplifting, like, yeah, let's off into the ocean, lads. He's going to go with more of a solemn sort of we're all in this
Sail
together.
faster or we die. Sail
No, not exactly. Plot a course to the night, to a place I once knew, to a place where my hope died along with my crew. So I swallow my grief and face life's final test, to find promise of peace and the solace of rest. As the songs of the dead fill the space of my years, their laughter like children, their beckoning cheers. My heart longs to join them, sing songs of the sea. I remember the fallen, do they think of me? When their bones in the ocean forever will be.
So one of the crew like immediately runs to the side and jumps. No, I'm kidding.
I think
Like, screw this, I'm out of here.
while this song's going on, Torque is just kind of standing at the prow of the ship, just kind of looking out for a second. And he's got his anchor in hand, and you just feel the sound of like leather being pulled taut as his grip just tightens for a second. And then he just slings it over his back again and gets back to work.
There's definitely a moment of pause, kind of, especially from the crew and the captain, where they just kind of look. All right.
When the song is going on, I would love to be sort of doing a quick survey of the crew and try and figure out who's about to snap, who needs the most help.
Okay. So I'll let you do an insight for that if you want to help on that.
Not great.
Mike,
but...
you want to do something?
I do. So I alluded to it already, but when the song is done and everybody's kind of maybe thinking about getting back to their jobs, I want to keep them there. There's one more thing I want you guys to keep in mind. I now have the ability to keep us from drowning in this ocean for an amount of time. So if push come to shove, we have to go down with the ship. We're not going to go down with the ship. I will be able to give us the ability to get through the water up to shore. So right now, this is just about getting the ship to shore. If we don't get the ship there, we will get there.
See the crew all kind of looking at you and look at each other, and then Captain Moon's like, magic.
Magic, yes.
Okay, hey.
Oh, here's something I can do. Can Torque make a medicine check to tend to the wounded?
Ooh. Certainly. That will potentially help the 3 injured to better help.
Nice.
I got an 18.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, so you bandage them up sufficiently, help them to kind of ease the pain a bit so that they can kind of work through and push through. They're still in pretty rough shape, but you've definitely helped them get back on their feet and kind of help them to you find a thing of adrenaline, just like, okay, ready to go. Some painkillers. No, you
just have a syringe of adrenaline on the ship. Is it shark
D&D, right?
adrenaline?
D&D right now? Yeah, shark adrenaline. That's it. Hey, artificers, man, who knows what they can do?
I mean,
True.
Torque, the only thing he's really proficient in is a herbalism kit. So I feel like it would be more of kind of like bandages wrapped around just sort of like a poultice of mashed herbs and like,
off your show.
Yeah, like plant remedies and stuff like that.
Possibly something to chew on to kind of numb the pain for a little bit, like classic remedies like that.
Oh
Sure.
yeah, like he's
Gotcha.
given he's given one guy like stitches, and he's just biting down on like a piece of tree bark.
Got it. All right. So I'll say with all of that being added, so with that song, I'll give advantage on the D20 roll, and then with the rest of you adding in, what was your insight? Oh yeah, 13. Not too bad. You see, Lefty is looking a little bit twitchy, and
I'll make sure he
okay,
keeps
but-
busy then. You know,
Yeah.
give him work to focus on.
Lefty's left eye is
Living up to its name.
Yeah, you can't be lefty and twitchy. Come on, let's go.
Lefty's his first name, Twitchy's his middle name.
A nickname for customer. Come on.
Last name McGee, of course. All right, so I'll give you advantage and a +3 to the D20 roll. So who wants to make this?
I mean, I'll do it.
All right,
Go for it.
then.
Go for it.
D20 plus 3, right? And we have
D20
advantage
+3,
on
and
this?
you have advantage.
Advantage.
Aye, sir.
Well, I'll take the 13, I think.
Are you sure you don't want to go with the 13?
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna go with the 13.
All right. So it takes you longer than expected. It takes you closer to 2 hours to kind of get the ship
Oh.
turned around properly, because without sufficient oarsmen to actually like physically turn the ship, getting the ship even to just turn from sitting still is actually quite difficult to do with any kind of momentum. So it takes close to 2 hours to kind of get it going and to get the sails up and in position, kind of get things rigged, to get it functioning and moving in that direction. So in that time, you feel the ship is starting to list more and more to starboard. It's just kind of like there's definitely a tilt, definitely an angle to the ship now. It's not like right over, but it's definitely significant enough that okay, there's probably a decent amount of water starting to come in now. It's kind of like,
Is there enough room down there for Torque to be working the pumps?
Good question.
well, now that the ship is heading in the right direction, so that's about 2 hours in. If anybody wants to take stock, so Dinar, I know you said you wanted to head down and take stock.
Yeah, I'd like to see what is causing us more trouble as we go on.
Right. So what are you attempting to do? What are you looking for? What's your approach?
Well, you had mentioned that the bodies were deteriorating faster than natural. So Dinar is going down to check to see if the hull of the ship is exhibiting similar deterioration.
Okay.
From the death that was in here.
You have proficiency with water vehicles, right? Is that correct? Or did you?
I believe I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. So you can go ahead and make a check
Okay.
using that then.
So adding my proficiency for water vehicles to it.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, this is your expertise of looking at the shape of a ship and going,
That ain't right.
is it ship shape or ain't it ship shape?
So this is a hardy +7 for me. It's 15 +7, so 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely an unnatural rot that has set in, and the speed at which the wood is being eaten away. This is more than just being submerged to water. Even like wrecks that go down, stay intact for a long time, just because of the nature of the ship, and even a lot of the the tar and tack and stuff like that goes into putting a ship together. So whatever the source of this rot, it is unnatural, and it is eating away at the ship fast.
And
you've probably got about 2 hours.
We're taking on water with this, I guess.
Yes, you
Okay.
get so the ship there's the kind of the main deck. There's the mid deck below that, which is where the mid deck is the cannon deck. Then there's the rowing deck, like the oars deck, and then there's the very like the hold at the very bottom, and that entire level is almost underwater at this point.
How long can I enlarge something? Up to 1 minute. That doesn't help. Okay.
Well, you could just cast it continuously.
So
I've only got
if it's
three
water,
slots.
if it's water, you need destroying.
Gonna say.
Well, I
You come and get the guy who controls water and the sea and sky.
that's okay. I mean, I suppose Dinar doesn't know. All right. Well, so Dinar's gonna come up to the deck where everybody else is. All right, guys. The ship is taking on water, and that, like, the body's decomposing faster than normal. That's happening to the ship. So, who's got some brilliant ideas?
Cut out the rot.
Cut out the rod. I like that. That's smart. What else?
I can get rid of the water. I can also do minor repairs, but it'll take me some time.
I figure at this rate, we've maybe got 2 hours left afloat. And we're
I can
still a
make us
few
that-
hours out from this island, so...
I can make us last longer.
Okay. Flick, I don't know if you want to come down and handle the cutting out of the rod, or Torque, or one of the shipmates.
Ideally, I would say freeze it or burn it with one of your spells, man.
That's a good idea. You are smarter
Cauterize
than
that
me
guy.
right now. I am way too focused on drowning.
Flick is the idea, man.
Whatever you have to
just
do,
get
lads, to get us where we need to go. At this point, it's saving ourselves versus saving the ship. I love me my ship, but the rest, those of us who are alive, are more important. So, if you got to burn half the ship or whatever, I don't understand how that's going to get us there faster. But
Controlled burn of the rot.
magic ain't my thing. So, do what you need to do. Let's get to land.
What sort of repair supplies do we have? Do we have like a stock of lumber for repairing holes? Do we have
Give
crates?
me an investigation check to see what is left.
If we do, that would make this very simple.
Sure would. Mm-hmm.
There's hoping.
You take stock of inventory, kind of remembering the layout of the ship, and most of the supplies, including, wood pins and all that would be used in repair, is in the hold,
Underwater, huh?
which is currently mostly submerged.
Okay. I
It's
can give
there,
us...
but it is waterlogged and it is underwater at the moment.
This
I
is
could
not a
give us the
problem for me.
ability. This will last 24 hours. So why don't I just cast that on the ship right now? Everybody that's here, all the crewmates, except for Torque, obviously. And then we can do what we need to in the hold, and if we go down, we're already set. So
I'd rather not be in the ship when it goes down, because getting out might prove
Just so
to be
you're
really-
aware, Dinar, if I can't speak, I am of no use.
I mean,
Okay.
pretty much all he does is
Debatable.
talk and sing, so I see where he's going.
well, no, but if we got to get down into the hold, and the hold is underwater right now,
Leave that to
it
me.
would be nice to be able to go down there without having to worry about holding your breath.
Don't worry, Dinar, I got this.
Okay.
How big is the lower deck?
The lower deck, you're probably looking at about 10 feet wide by about 60 feet long. So it's smaller, significantly smaller than the
Okay.
main deck, of course, as you get closer to the
Follow-up question. How many gallons is that?
Take me math?
Alright.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
It's about 8 feet high,
high school class prepared.
10
for
feet
this.
wide, and that's me generous because there's it
That
slopes
curvature,
up.
yeah.
and about 60 feet long.
All right.
So
So
I don't want to math that,
Oh
man.
gosh.
a
Okay, Google
five...
tells me that's about 36,000 gallons.
No. 5 cubic feet of water is about 37 gallons. So you
Okay.
said it's so
What?
how full is the water? How full is the how high up is it? How flooded is it?
Pretty much to the top now.
So
Alright.
It's like you've got maybe about 5 or 6 inches of air
It is 10 foot wide, 60 feet. 10 feet tall.
No, 10 foot wide,
10
60
10
foot
wide.
long.
10 wide,
At the top, at the bottom, it's like this
Right.
is going down near the keel.
60 wide.
60 long.
60
so
long.
Right.
Yeah. So
stern to bow.
60 long, 10 feet
And
wide,
about-
and then how
8 from the middle of the bottom to the top is 8. So the closer you get to the sides, you've got maybe about 5 or 6. Like we're literally talking like the bottom hold of a ship, right? Where it's like
Yep.
So we're looking at about 4,500 cubic feet then.
Dungeons and Dragons, everybody.
Okay.
It's math.
I can remove 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, like 150 gallons of water, give or take, possibly more, possibly
We
less.
just keep more water from coming in. To
Yeah,
replace
that's-
the stuff.
Well, I can also mend, but
Mhm.
that takes a minute.
Stay in school, kids.
So-
Become important.
While Tayland is doing the math on whether or not what he's trying to do can work, Dinar is going to start ritual casting water breathing.
Okay.
Okay.
He needs to take stock though, so I can do this on up to 10 willing creatures.
There are
If I
less
remember
than 10
correctly-
people on board.
Well, I know that there's 4 here if we're counting Captain Boone as Craig, but how many? I feel like you said there's about 4 or 5 other crew members that survived, or is it more like 6 or 7?
There's six crew total that have survived.
Is that counting Captain Boone?
Yes.
Okay, so then we're good. That's 6 of them, 3 of us. Torque is good on his own, so just under the bar. So Dinar's gonna ritual cast water breathing on everybody except for Torque, including himself. But that ritual, so that'll take a few minutes.
Tayland, are you down in the hold at this point?
I'd say at this point I'm just above the water, just kind of looking at it and trying to determine if I can even do anything here.
Okay. Give me either nature or investigation check, depending on how you want to gauge the situation.
Does not matter to me, so I will do investigation. 10.
Okay. At this vantage point, you're not exactly sure where the water is coming in.
Where it's coming in, okay.
So without getting down in there, even as to where you would kind of shape the water and remove it, you'd have to kind of find the.
Because like push come to shove, I could freeze part of it.
I can too.
Make a block, but I need to know where I'm doing that.
Or could you make a void in the water? Like if we find leakage,
Yes. So short answer, yes, but only a 5-foot cube.
enough for us to perform repairs without having to worry about.
Exactly. I just need to know where.
All right.
And I can, like I said, I can remove like 150 some odd gallons of that to help. Like once we know where we're at, we can. But I'd rather do that once we've plugged the hole rather than.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Like
Because I'll do that, and then like 5 minutes later, it'll be back.
Yeah.
If the hole is plugged, then we can start just pumping this out.
Like we can freeze it
bail
and
it.
then use mend and then bail. We just need to know where the thing is.
All right. While the ritual casting is going on, I'm going to do a quick survey, sort of see if I can sort of pick out where the supplies are. And
Okay. So you're gonna dive down into the hold.
Yep.
Okay.
And looking for supplies, make sure I can get to the lumber pretty easily, and then do a quick boot around and see if I can detect if there's an obvious hole or anything, or where the rot is biggest.
All right. Give me an investigation check then.
Can I shape the water to be less murky and make it as clear as crystal to help him see better? I can do that in 5-foot cubes. So if I just kind of do that around,
I say that can make sense. You're kind of like almost diluting the salinity of it.
Yeah. Well, I can change the water's color or opacity within a 5-foot
Math and
cube of
science,
water,
guys.
which is about 37 gallons. So every 37 gallons around him, I can make completely crystal clear.
You just make sort of a bubble clear water around him. Yeah,
that'll
a
lower the
sphere.
DC then for sure. I don't. It wouldn't quite give advantage.
Sure.
Looking through water, but the DC will come down significantly for what you can
All
see.
right, and you said investigation for this?
As you're doing a specific search.
As the souls of the dead.
Does that work for you?
There you go.
Of my
Nice.
eyes, and my boat listed over.
So diving down into the hold, you quickly identify, thankfully, Captain Boone is a very organized captain, and the crates and barrels that are holding the supplies for ship repairs are clearly labeled. Now, some of the ink is coming off, but you can make out enough of the labels to say, oh, okay, I can see that's where the tack is. That's where the nails are kept there. You can kind of make out where it all is, and it is all kind of tied down along the starboard side, which is where the ship is leaning. And you can now see as you move towards the bow of the ship, the bow of the hold, you can see a massive, like a fairly substantial size hole, and the wood all around that hole, even in the water, you can see there's just black. Like it's not even sort of a natural rot. There's just black, and at this point, as you're getting closer, it appears to be moving. Whatever this substance is that is eating away at the wood, you catch little ripples, waves of movement, something in it that is definitely not natural.
I'm gonna swim up. As soon as my head breaches the top of the water, it's like, hey, Mr. T, I think we got critters down here eating the ship.
Torque.
What do you mean? Wait, critters like what
Starts-
eats? I can't think of anything that eats a ship.
Well, it looks like that black crap that they dumped on us. It's more than just like eating the wood. It's like something eating the wood, right?
So you tell me them monstrous creatures with them tentacle things coming out of them. Now my ship's got that black whatever on it.
You got it, Captain.
Those bastards killed my ship.
More ways than one.
Yeah. So given the size of the hole, like removing entire planks to isolate this stuff, I'm assuming wouldn't work, right? Like it just makes
Not if it's moving.
Yeah.
I would say with that roll too, I'll throw this just into your general intelligence that it's like trying to bail water out of a barrel that has holes, and it's just you're not making any headway, basically.
Yeah, and we're trying to change a tire while the car's going. Like
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So will it have some effect on lengthening how far it can go? Possibly.
Well,
Hard
it
to
will,
say.
but will it be noticeable?
That's
That's the question.
exactly it. That's the question.
We
yeah.
could easily buy us a couple seconds. I don't think that's an argument that anyone.
You might be talking like an extra mile or two, maybe. Which,
Yeah.
With the distance you have.
Yeah, so
might not do much.
definitely making for the island is the wise choice here. As soon as we can get this baby grounded and get that infected section exposed to air or something, we need to get that crap off of here before the whole boat's gone.
All right. Well, here's gonna be our priority, gents. We'll I'm gonna make sure that our sails are in place. I'm gonna jam the rudder and keep us heading straight for that island there. We ain't got too much crosswinds that's gonna steer us off course at the moment, so we'll run straight for it. And once that's done, we're gonna salvage as much as we can in the way of food, that kind of food, medicine, anything like that. Screw the supplies. I mean, ain't much use in keeping them if there ain't a ship to repair. So whatever you can find down there that's going to help us make a 2-day trek through the jungle and not starve to death. You know what I'm saying? See what we can scavenge from that, bring it up to the deck, and have it ready to go.
The 3 wounded guys, are they able to will they be able to walk, or do we need to like worry about like travois or stretchers or stuff for them?
I think Torque did a pretty good job healing them up a bit, so I'll leave that to them to decide. I ain't about to tell any crew whether they're fit to walk or not. If they say they are, then they are, but...
All right, walking wounded it is. They might slow our pace down, but it's a hell of a lot better than carrying them.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
How many rowboats do we have attached to the side of our ship?
I think we have enough.
There are
8 people.
That's
there
a
are
good
four
point.
boats. Yeah, your standard ship has 4 boats on
Okay.
deck, so you've got 4.
When Dinar finishes the ritual cast of water breathing, he's going to inspect those boats and make sure there's not a similar kind of rot happening on those.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation check then.
Okay.
So it seems that the consensus has moved away from going down to fight this thing. So Torque is going to just stand guard by. He's just going to kind of like wade up to his waist into the water below deck and just have his trident ready to engage with this thing if it tries to break the surface or go after anyone.
Yeah, I think the main problem with fighting it is that we're going to do more damage to the ship.
Yeah, so this is definitely sort of just a defensive stance
Got
that
it.
Torque is taking right now, just to keep it from spreading to the point where it could potentially attack someone above deck.
Got it. Okay.
Rolled a
Alright.
16 plus my 4, so 20 on the investigation of the rowboats.
Okay. All 4 boats seem to be in good repair.
Ship shape?
Ship shape.
All right.
So while the little guy's on lookout, I will be diving down into the supplies and getting whatever we need, whatever I can find.
All right. I'd say using your previous investigation check there, again, and with the fact that supplies are neatly organized and labeled on Captain Boone's ship, then you're able to locate several crates of rations and like. So then it'd just be a matter of kind of loosening them and floating them. Essentially, once you loosen them, you gather you could probably kind of float them over to because they are kind of tied down. So once you get them loose, they'll naturally kind of the buoyancy will naturally kind of draw them up, and then it's just getting them to the the entrance of the hold where Torque is, and then getting them out from there. But
Perfect.
I'll say no check needed. It's just a matter of time. It just takes a bit of time for you to get going and doing that.
I will enlist Lefty to be my man on the top to give him something to do, and I'll be down. I'll loose one up, and he can sort of hook it and bring it in and stack them. And
You gotta flick it. Whatever you need.
To accommodate for the fact that most of our crew is now below deck scavenging, Talon's going to go up on deck and start casting Gust of Wind on the sails to help make up for whatever time we might be losing by not having a crew. You can only do that for a few minutes, but hopefully is long
Certainly.
enough to keep us at a regular, decent pace without losing any ground.
Certainly. All right. So over the next better part of the next 2 hours, it's essentially a rat race of trying to salvage what you can, keeping the ship on course. And it is like the ship is just like ever so it just keeps continuing to list to the point where, you know, you're kind of like standing and holding on to the upper rail as it's like it's just going like this. Whatever's keeping it afloat, it's like it's barely keeping it afloat. You get to the point where you're probably about a good 100 or 200 feet off of the island when Torque, you would have had to have moved kind of out of the hold and into the ore deck now, which is also starting to fill with water. And I would say, yeah, without even having to make a check, Torque, you estimate that within minutes the ship is just gonna
I'm going to bellow
belly
this.
up, basically.
I'm going to bellow this up. We're seconds away from flipping, Captain.
Why don't you stand on the other side, Torque?
All right, lads, get the boats ready. Let's drop them in. Take what we can. I think we've asked all we can of our Intrepid Devil here. I know Captain's supposed to go down with her, but screw that. Let's get off of this thing.
I agree. as the souls of the dead fill the space of my eyes, and my boat listed over and tried to capsize.
Now, gents, the question is, are we going in one boat together, or are we each taking a boat?
How many can fit in a boat? What are these? Keel boats or rowboats, or what are we
They're
looking
just
at?
rowboats. With supplies, you could probably fit, squishing together, you could probably fit about 3 or 4 in a boat with like a crate or 2. So you wouldn't need all 4. You'd probably need at max 3 to get everyone comfortably, but 2 would suffice in a pinch.
So we're splitting up then. Who's going with who?
Well, I think for weight balance purposes, me and the little guy go together, and then you and Talon.
I think that's, that makes the most sense.
Who's taking the supplies?
Oh, we can split them between the 2 boats.
Okay.
Yeah, easy enough.
Yeah.
All right. As the ship in its final moments begins to just list further and further, and taking advantage of the top deck being closer to the water, essentially just pushing the rowboats kind of off into the water there and hopping in and just shoving off. The remainder of the crew and yourselves just kind of watch as the ship sideways and then just drops, loses all speed as it seems to drop. The sails, the mast, the center mast kind of cracks in half from the weight of it as it turns onto its side, and the ship slowly descends, bubbles as the water comes rushing in. And Intrepid Devil goes down. Basically. Captain Boone has a just like permanent creased scowl on his face right now. He's just that ship served me for many years. Well, I'm gonna find a new one, I guess. Port Sands is as good a place as any to find something to sail, but well, let's get to it, lads. We got to row.
She won't be forgot, Captain. Don't you worry. Because I'm doing a mental inventory of all the salvageable iron down there. Like, we got cannons and stuff, right? Like, there's still stuff.
There are cannons, yes. Yeah.
Let us be grateful that we got away this day with our lives. There are many we knew that were not so lucky.
That'd be true. Defuna's grace for them. Now for us, let's pray that she ain't send any waves or unwanted tides our way. Let's set to rowing and make for land there.
I remember the fallen and they think of me. For our souls in the ocean together will be.
All right. So as you make your way rowing, probably about another hour or so. Boats are pretty heavy laden. It's quite heavy, and there are waves. Like it's not like it's. I mean, you are kind of coming to the shallows here, so there's a bit
I'll be
of a
doing the
tide
best I can to moderate that.
you're going against. But you do eventually manage to bring the boats up to this sort of sandbar of an island. And as you get closer, you realize that it looks to be several small islands with a little bit of shallows and seas kind of in between them. But you make for the closest one.
You might call it an archipelago.
It's a little bit of an archipelago. It's true. Or perhaps more of an archipelago, but either way, we'll archipelate it go.
They're on thin
For now.
ice, Wibbly.
No, we're in the tropics. What are you talking about? There's no ice here. All right, so you make it to this small island, and as the boats crest onto the beach, it's a pleasant enough afternoon.
Start looking for sea turtles.
Sea turtles, mate. Given the circumstances, you do see a few small trees, none of which have any coconuts on them. These are not the right kind of palm trees.
What about coconut crabs?
You don't see any crabs. It looks pretty desolate. There's not much to be seen at all on the island, but you are safe on land, and you can see the distant shore, probably about another 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours row from here, at best guess. But as you kind of step out of the boats, now that you're standing on land, the captain just kind of finds the nearest rock and just sits, takes his hat off. I ain't much good on land. That's why I spend most of my time at sea. I'd say it feels good to be safe for sure, but I'd be lying to myself right now and to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite call this a shore quite yet, Captain.
I'm out of my depths here.
Was able to salvage this, and I produce a bottle from. Quickly get the top off to the Intrepid Devil, and I'll pass it around.
And to her crew.
Aye.
Fine assembly of misfits, including yourselves.
Especially ourselves.
Ship was beat up. Seen lots of battles, seen lots of waves, seen lots over the years, but she was home. It'd be the same without her. Talon, I might need to commission you to write me a ditty for her one of these days. Put to words what perhaps we're all feeling.
Well, the
I'm feeling right
intrepid
now.
devils all the go. Walk them along, torque carry them
Rains
along.
fast.
They've gone where the stormy winds won't blow. Carry them to their burying ground.
Orc is going to take the bottle from Flick and just take a pensive sip and just kind of sit there, just swirling it for a second.
We've never seen Torque drink before, right? Like alcohol?
I note that. It's like,
Yeah.
Given the occasion, this being
Aye, lad.
my second time run adrift,
Aye.
I suppose I'll drink for nostalgia, if nothing else.
As good a reason as any.
The world is a very dark and cruel place, Captain. But just because the world is cruel, but just because the world is cruel, does not mean that we have to be. And he hands him the bottle. Remember this.
Wise words, Torque.
and you know what?
It does strike me that you are one of few words, but the few words that you do say are often wise ones. So thank you for that.
This whole situation reminds me of my my Auntie Varicella. Fine lady, and she could cook from garbage. I swear to God.
Take a word for it.
Like, she could find the little bits and nuggets and pieces from the scraps and rot that we were given back at the camps. And us kids, we never went with an empty belly when Auntie V was around, because she would make do with what she had. That's our situation, Captain. Let's make do, right?
Well, let's see if there's anything to be found on this island while we're here, and we'll plot our next course. I think our crew here need a rest. You see the three that are injured are definitely, they've already kind of like just found a spot under the nearest tree and they've just passed out. Lefty's still kind of sitting there just like takes the bottle from you.
Easy.
Sorry. Ship is my life.
How many crew did you say we lost?
You lost in total about 23 crew.
Whoa.
All of a sudden.
What are we drinking?
More.
More. Yeah.
This was
Your sound was about 30 crew total.
My
Right.
my lead into that was Talon would like to down an equivalent number. But 23 is a lot.
Of anything, yeah.
Let us divide the burden then.
I think what he's going to do, he's going to pour out 23 drinks, but he's going to put them out in the ocean. And then no one better try and stop him.
Oh, which is more for us. We can spare some for them.
Talon, I'm
As
not
long as they
familiar
don't,
with...
like, come walking out of that water.
Well,
We need
With that,
more.
I mean, considering some of what we're seeing, I ain't putting that past what's going on around here.
Talon, I'm not familiar with this practice. You're pouring them...
We'll
into the
load
ocean.
them up with ale and rum. Walk them along, John, carry them along. That every shellback should have some. Carry them to their burying ground. To me, way, hey,
He wants to get the fish drunk.
Walk them along, John, carry them along.
Well, with the amount he's pouring out there, it's going to be accomplished.
Well, it's a symbolic gesture.
Hmm.
All right, I think the Gungar might have different ceremony that they would do for those lost at sea, but among us free-sailing folk, you pour a drink for them as you take one for yourself. In their memory, as it were. Sea is their home now, so giving it to their home.
Hmm.
Do we intend to stay here long? Or is this just a momentary respite?
I'm assuming it's a momentary
Well,
respite.
Depends on whether we can. We got another 3 hours of rowing in us to make it to shore, or might need to spend the night here. It's, if we set out very quickly after we give our gents a rest here, I imagine we'll be making shore by nightfall. Otherwise, it's here for the night. Go in the morning.
Well, Cap, based on what you said was awaiting us potentially on that shore, I don't know if we want to make landfall at night. It might be worthwhile to hitch a couple tents up to these trees here and try to get some shut-eye in a place that's relatively safe.
It's a good spot as any from what I can tell.
Quick look around. There is dry land, tide coming in, tide going out. What's the
I can nature check.
Oh, man. We're going to get washed out to sea if we spend the night?
might get some damp britches though. Nature, you say? Apparently, I like rolling 18 natures.
Apparently. Giving a quick look around the island, you don't seem to be in danger of any tide rising above. There is definitely kind of the high point of the island does seem to remain dry. Yeah, it looks pretty.
Okay, so I find the line of seaweed where the high tide line is.
Yeah, and it's quite far out. Like it looks like you got pretty good purchase of land that would be safe from any tide or waves that would come in.
Good,
barring a hurricane.
Do I see a hurricane coming?
No. Skies are pretty clear from what you can tell. Yeah.
What do we have in terms of rations?
You got pretty much your standard gruel, grog. You got a lot of fish, a lot of dried, salted fish. There is some salted meat, dried meat, that they'd acquired coming out of the Avid port. Captain had made sure the ship was stocked up before you set sail from Port of Sands. So, a decent amount of food. you're not going to be eating like kings, but
So supplies enough for the 10 of us for how many days would we figure?
oh, at least a week probably. I mean, there was enough. So you didn't get all the supplies off the ship, but there was enough on the ship to last a crew of 30 for about a month. So
Okay, so
ship was
Orc
well
is
stocked.
going to turn to Flick and just say, "Dog slicer. Dig a pit. Find some wood on this island that's remotely dry. Bard, if you have tinder, get a fire going. Dragon, you say you can breathe underwater now?
We all can for the next 20 some odd hours.
Good." And he unsheathes his trident. If we're going to be staying here, then we're going to be eating fresh. Come fishing with me.
Yeah, all right.
I like how you're thinking there.
this is why he's the big guy. All right, hang on. No, he's the little guy. Hang on. I'm digging a hole. I'm off. I'm digging.
All right.
I will join Torque in the sea looking for fish.
Okay. So the two of you go off fishing.
I will be attempting to start a fire the mundane way.
All right. The captain and
Instead of
Lefty-
having the
Lefty and
wizard
Shorty.
deal with that very quickly and efficiently, I will be slowly and surely lighting a fire.
It will
with
build
tinder.
character.
Yeah.
there we
Yeah.
go. team building.
It's a
exercise.
It's a teachable moment.
Take the guy who can cast fire from his fingertips to go fishing instead of the guy who can literally manipulate the water.
Yeah, but
Get
there's
that guy
Hey,
to start the fire.
They've already walked off, man.
Yeah, but there's
I can imagine Talon being like, "What?"
you see
Actually,
there's a
probably
very
drunk,
good
so he's like, "Wait a minute."
there's a very good explanation for this.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
the Torque doesn't like hanging out with Talon.
That's fair.
So it's not about Dinar, it's about not being with Talon.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
All right. So Captain Boone takes Lefty and Shorty and lets the three that are still injured kind of sleep as he starts to kind of make up some makeshift shelters. Words. While the rest of you take care of the fire and the fishing. So for Torque and Dinar, I'll say give me some survival
Okay.
checks as you go hunting for fresh food.
I'm trained in survival, so
Oh, good. So what's your modifier? I'm plus. It says +4 on Roll20, but +5 on my D&D Beyond sheet. That's strange.
you're
Go
trained in
with
survival?
Beyond. I'd say go with
I'm a
D&D
+4 as
Beyond.
well.
Okay. Do you
So
want
I'd say each
me to
you
roll,
make a
but-
separate roll.
Oh, I was going to ask if you wanted to give me the help action.
I mean, you would be the more effective fisherman with your trident. I have a
True.
dagger and my bare hands.
Is this a shovel that you're drawing there? Like
That's a campfire.
that's a campfire.
That's
Oh, yeah, there we
fire.
go.
I will roll on D&D Beyond as instructed.
D&D Beyond.
Oh, okay. So the little B means that's a nat 20 apparently, because I got a 25.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's nifty. I saw that come up on my character sheet because we're in the same campaign. It's new.
Yeah, they'll show up
Oh,
in your,
so no screen capture required.
you can do
No.
your tracking now in campaigns, which is really cool. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Neat.
check that out.
they've added that, which is a nice feature. So
Ah.
all right. And Dinar.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I will also roll. Ooh, that's a 19 plus my 4, so 23.
Okay. So between the two of you, using various techniques, you managed to catch a good amount of fresh fish, some large ones as well.
I think Torque just walks out with just like a swordfish slung over one shoulder.
Sure, yeah. You get like, skewer a marlin, you got some swordfish, you got a couple tuna, other types of fish also.
Tunas
A
are
couple of tuna. Those get pretty big.
Yeah.
tuna's like 500 pounds.
Is there anything left in this ocean when we're
I was
done?
gonna say, Torque walks
Oh, yeah.
out with
Oh,
like 4 or 5 fish, Dinar walks out holding one rather large one. He
Yeah.
can't handle all of that weight.
But you've got, you managed to get quite a few. Definitely good eating if you like fish, which you're all sailors, so.
You said we had rice in the surviving rations, right?
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure there's some rice in there.
Once Taylor gets a fire going, Torque is going to empty his water skin into the pot from his mess kit, get a boil going, boil some rice. And he's going to take Dinar's knife and kind of cut the fish into strips, do sort of like kind of like a poke type thing. Not a lot of fixings for it. It's mostly just rice and fish, but
for sailors who are used to eating slop and gruel with the occasional bit of jerky and stuff thrown in and biscuits, yeah, you got a happy cur to eat.
He'll do his due diligence to sear up what he serves to the others, but he'll make a point of eating his servings raw. Fairly raw.
I mean, he's a turtle, so
it's better for you. It's more nutrients.
So while before this is going on, while you guys are out fishing, and Flick, as you are digging the hole, give me a nature check, please. Another one.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
The third 18 on nature check. Here we go.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
No. Looks like an 18 at first glance, but no.
Okay. So you're digging, and something kind of catches you afterwards. I'll say that as you were digging, that you didn't quite notice at the time, just with the effort of it. But now that you're kind of sitting around the fire, you're eating. As you were digging, some of the sand was moving back into the pit. And you're like digging, and it seemed to be kind of. I mean, sand tends to move on its own, but this was even like the clumped sand, like the wet sand. The more you get down, the closer you get to, seabed to waterbed. But that wet sand was kind of moving a little bit. You're not sure what to make of it, though. You just kind of catch it as like oh yeah, that was weird. Not sure what the cause was, though.
Hey, Tayland. What do you know about sucking sand?
It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
Sand sucks, I understand.
Hate sand.
I know, I was digging and it seemed to be filling in a little faster than
He's got to make it more wet. Dry sand doesn't dig properly.
well, I'm wondering, is there like extra irrigation down there? We stumbled upon a someone's treasure pit. What's going on? What do you think? Spitball with me.
Well, we can dig a bit harder, I suppose.
I mean, there's nothing else. If we're staying here for the night, nothing else to do.
All right,
Dig a hole.
I have an idea. You may want to step back.
I love your ideas. I love stepping back. I'm doing it.
So assuming Flick takes a good distance away from what we're doing, I'm gonna take all this, make sure we don't have any sticks or anything loose nearby. Hand that all to Flick. Just keep everything strapped down that we need for this fire.
I'm so intrigued.
Okay, good. Okay,
I'm on it. Yep.
all right.
Got you covered.
And it's windy weather, boy, stormy. Well, I'm gonna conjure up a dust devil. That's gonna start picking up the sand and swirling it around and pulling it out of the ground.
Okay.
When the wind blows, we're all together, boys.
How long does this last? How long are you doing this for?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Probably about 30 or 40 seconds in, you manage to you've got kind of like a decent hole going here where you're sucking the sand up.
Blow ye winds westerly, blow ye winds blow.
I'd say you've probably got down about a good close to 2 feet or so. It's just like a lot of the loose sand is just coming up. And then some of the sand that was kind of starting to suck up seems to kind of start to resist it being pulled up and actually kind of clumps together and pulls down and clumps together.
Uh-oh.
See, that's what I was talking
You see,
about.
now that's not natural.
So what do you think? Is this
Well, I mean, frankly, that defied physics.
yeah, so we're sitting on an island of elemental earth.
You hear the sucking kind of.
I'll cancel out the winds.
Is this island gonna eat us tonight? I don't want to get eaten tonight.
Well, maybe we'll all just sleep on planks of wood.
Keep the boats ready.
After a moment later, bit of a rumble. A lot of the sand on the surface of the island just kind of like shifts and like a couple of trees.
I'm gonna get down on my hands and knees.
Hey,
Talk.
Fleck.
I gotta talk to the island. And say, hey, listen. No hard feelings. We're just staying for a night. Promise we won't do any more digging. And I'm just gonna just be petting the sand. Just petting the sand.
Fleck.
And this is going to be how Dinar and Torque find me as they return from fishing and me on the beach petting the sand.
Well, this is
while we're in.
No.
Yeah.
I said this is kind of after. So this was
Okay.
like this is after you'd already had the fire starting stuff, and this is Flick kind of like thinking back, being like, "Hey, wait a second,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
that was weird."
It's okay, sir. As people
like-
are circling away from the fire, then yes, I'm just
Give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
saving throw.
Oh boy.
Hey, yeah, I'm on this. I can do that. Hecha!
Ooh.
Right. So you're kind of down. You're like petting the sand, and there's a moment where your kind of natural instincts kick in. You're like, "Wah!" and you jump back right as the sand kind of beneath you just forms this giant hand and just tries to grab you, and then the hand kind of like.
I was being nice. Son of a bitch.
And this colossal form of the sand starts to harden, and like rock starting to kind of like form together as it just like pulls itself up out of the ground.
Hey, that's the thing.
We found it.
You sand at a beach.
Hello.
A face forms in as it kind of looks at you and just like, and in some language, you assume it's language, you just hear, it's like sand, like water kind of slurping out of its mouth.
Now, I do speak primordial, but mostly, I think, Aquan. Would I be able to parse anything from that?
You pick it up as it's definitely elemental, but the semblance it's a little bit different. But it definitely has a primordial base to it. So this is an elemental entity of sorts, probably closer to Terran or something than it would be to Aquan. But there's enough of recognition where you're like, oh, it's angry. That's not a happy sound.
Orc sighs and puts down his bowl.
So we're
Here
gonna go
I
ahead
thought I
and,
may get to enjoy a meal in peace.
clear this as we're gonna roll initiative.
Did we get a short rest from the
Oh, yeah.
ogre fight?
Yes.
Okay.
Hooray.
Yes, you've had a short rest.
Yay.
Second wind. Actually, I used all my short rest.
Oh, I see what my problem was. I didn't account for my increase to my proficiency bonus.
Ah.
Torque rolled an 11.
Okay.
Oh, I need to roll my initiative.
Ha ha. Man.
Oh, tail end.
Not terrible.
Captain Boone's gonna go ahead and roll initiative as well. $11 for the captain.
What's his dex?
Captain Boone, he's got a +2.
As do I.
All right, so you can choose if you want to. Is that what you got? You got a.
I'll let the captain go first.
Okay, I don't see you on my.
Oh yeah, I rolled on D&D Beyond because my Roll20
Okay.
character sheet is outdated apparently.
All right. This then. Dinar and Flick are also tied at 17. I'm assuming Flick has the higher dex, however.
It's probably a safe bet.
Probably.
Okay.
There we
So
go, now
Flick,
I got
as you kind of jump back out of the way, and this entity kind of comes up out of the earth and kind of looks at you. Your reflexes give
Yeah,
you the jump.
the whip is out. Doing this the hard way then, are we, Beachy? I am going to whip him twice. On account of I get extra attack. Kerblam, kerblam.
Okay. The first one hits. The second one does not.
Ooh, okay.
He can enjoy 11 slashing damage.
All right.
So it's maximum whippage.
All right.
I think I'm going to action surge because why not?
Because why not?
And this time, just for variety's sake, I'm gonna throw a booming blade on him.
Okay. Mark him with a little green
14's
here.
not gonna hit though, is it?
No, 14 is not going to hit, actually.
That sucks.
Yep. Yeah, you try to hit, and it's just like the sand has now like hardened and solidified, and it has taken on more of a rock. Like it's still like not quite like stone, but it's got definitely a hardened, almost more like a clay kind of look to it. But
Okay. Talk to me about these
Solidifying.
squares of water here. Are they difficult terrain or impassable, or what's the
they're very shallow,
very shallow? So I could
like
get
less, yeah, like few inches, kind of like it's like a little like tide pool kind of thing, almost not even a tide pool.
All right, so I will draw the opportunity attack anyway as I back off.
Okay.
24. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oof.
Uh,
You got any shield left?
well, here's the thing. With shield, it puts my AC to 24.
Oh,
So it still
Doesn't matter.
hits you.
Yeah.
So as you turn to try and like duck it away, and faster than you would expect, one of its like sandy rock appendages just like slams right into you. It's, hits you hard.
Awesome. Then I will bonus action second wind, and then I'll call that a turn.
All right,
That's- so I get
Dinar, you see this massive elemental entity now, just slam Fleck in the back as he turns and runs.
All right. So we have completed a short rest, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Then in that case, Dinar is just going to lead with some radiant damage. Inhale and just exhale. Some dragon breath at the
through
creature,
nose,
so it
out
has to
through the
make
mouth.
it has to beat a DC 14.
X.
Why does it
It
not
doesn't look
say?
too dexterous.
It's a dex save.
It's a dex save. Okay.
Well, here it goes with its -1. Oh my goodness!
Ooh.
I rolled. You rolled a 20, -1, so 19. So he saves.
Okay.
Figures.
Okay, that sucks. I mean, there's Not much
So
I could
it's
do.
less that it dodges out of the way, and it's more just like kind of like solidifies itself, and your breath just kind of like
Yeah.
it's in and just kind of like disperses off of it, and just kind of like its face without its head moving, its face just kind of like
Okay.
appears over here and looks at you.
It does actually still take damage. It takes
Is it half?
It does. It is half damage
Yeah,
on a successful save. So it's 2d6 radiant. That's not bad. That's 4 and 3, 7. There's no bonuses to that. It's just straight. No.
Yeah,
so
so-
7.5. So am I getting the higher side of that?
No, it always runs down.
Okay, then 3 damage.
Yeah.
3 radiant.
All right.
And yeah, since there's nowhere really to go, Dinar will take a step back towards the ocean, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Nothing else. I burned off its reaction, so it shouldn't be able to opportunity attack anyone else.
That is nice.
All right. Moving to it now. It kind of looks around. Again, its face, like eyes appearing here, and then kind of like appearing over here, and it's just like this amorphous blob figure just kind of turns and it's kind of like clay, almost like clay face kind of thing, and it's like starts slowly, very slowly moving towards you, Torque, and just kind of gets in front of you, and just part of its middle just kind of comes out, just like to slam into you.
Ooh.
Oh my word!
Ooh.
I didn't have a rage
Wow.
up yet.
Jeez,
Oh, no.
why am I rolling so well for this thing?
Do your worst, Masher.
That's brutal.
Maybe not
Oh,
That's not- bad.
that definitely could have been worse.
Yep.
That's only half of
didn't roll the crit.
the crit actually. So,
So another
yes.
2d8 on top of that.
minus the 5 there. So add another 11 to that.
So 20.
I will, but I'm
27?
not happy about it.
So 27.
27. Oh.
As it just like hits you, and you just feel like you take the brunt of it, like, oh. It's literally like getting hit by a rock, like just in the chest.
And I've sand on my loincloth for weeks.
Captain has dropped the pegs and the 10 pegs at this point, and has turned around and just like, oh, this bloody ocean not leave us alone. And you hear some more of his there's always a little bit of dwarvish brogue in him, but as he's getting more and more angry, you start to hear more of it coming out. Like the affectation starts to come a little bit more pronounced there, and you hear Dinar, you start to hear a little bit more of kind of a Gungrim accent. Start to where you haven't really heard it much before, just more of kind of like a gruff, sailor sound. There's like, oh, interesting. And he is going to pull out. You haven't really seen him do much on the way fighting. He's when he's on the ship, but now without a ship to command, he's in full combat mode. So he's going to pull out a pistol. And
Yeah, I haven't really had enough time to look at that new pistol I got.
Oh, that's true.
19. Da, da, da. 7 piercing. All right. So the bullet kind of fires true and seems to kind of like almost like sink in and just like, but the creature does react and like, and then Captain's going to 5, 10. He's going to rush
He's
right
gonna charge
in.
it.
What?
And he gets a long sword attack as well, so he's gonna.
Hey.
The sword just like.
Captain Boone.
Captain's mad.
Yep.
You see like there's just rage in his face where he's just like, I've had enough of this. Torque.
Or just gets up and dusts himself off after getting slammed for that much damage and just cracks his neck and goes, well, in for a copper, in for a platinum piece. And he is going to rage.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
So right off the bat, if I could get him to put that -1 dexterity to good use.
You got it. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
All right. Well, he's only going to take half of this, but it's still something.
It's gonna be half of one.
Hey.
Oh, that's good.
3.
Whoops.
Okay.
Okay, ignore those things checked, but that's going to be 3 lightning damage. Let me just uncheck those right now. Why not? Okay, then Torque is going to maneuver himself over here, and he's going to make the first of 2 reckless attacks.
Nice.
Okay.
With his
Go for it.
maul.
Oh, that's right. You get 2 attacks now.
With his new and improved...
Happiest day of his life.
With his new and improved proficiency bonus, that's a 25 to hit on the first one.
That'll hit. Yes, sir.
Nice.
So that's going to be 9 bludgeoning damage, and also because of the Crusher feat, I'm going to push him 5 feet directly away from me on that diagonal.
He does not move.
Someday, I'll fight something that can be pushed.
Looking down, like you can see, like, oh, he's like anchored like into the dirt, like into the
If it
sand.
comes out of the ground.
He's literally like coming out of it. Yeah.
Next session, we're gonna like be fighting bandits, and I'm gonna smack one, and then look down, and he's wearing crampons, and I'm like, oh.
It'll be the fight
Activated my
against-
trap card. I nailed my feet to the floor hours ago.
Someday we'll fight the guys on roller skates, and you'll be just happy as hell.
Yeah.
Right, you hit him,
And
like,
the second one's gonna be at 21.
That'll hit too.
So that's gonna be 17
Ooh,
Nice.
nicely done.
bludgeoning damage.
Nice, nice.
I don't like this bar filling up. I feel like his super meter's filling up, and he's about to hit me with like a Metza Hadouken.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's your damage on him. You're just hitting him with.
I figured it was our damage piling on
Oh,
him.
okay. I thought it was maybe like a hyper meter, and he was about to pull off the Shinshore Yuken.
The more damage he takes, the more damage he deals.
Yeah. So crap.
His combo meter's filling up.
You lay into him like with a couple of good swings, like just like chunks. As the chunks that you hit off of him just like burst into sand and just like just scatters loose sand behind
good,
you.
Very good.
And finally, Talon.
All right. So you said he's made out of sand.
From what you can tell, sand, but it's like clumped into hardened clay, almost rock.
Okay, but he's made of sand.
The grin when you ask that question.
He's a man castle.
Well, I'm just gonna. I need to show up, Torque. I'm gonna run up to the side of it, and with my squeeze box at the ready, we'll unleash a thunderous wave, if you will.
Okay.
The wind it howled and the thunder boom. Thought the storm might just prevail.
So for 300 feet in all directions, it's just like a sound wave just goes.
Sonic boom.
So he has to make a con.
The trees all
save.
go like.
What
Con
am-
save.
What I'm hoping is this like displaces the sand and like makes it more difficult. Oh come on!
The funny thing is though, I'm rolling
I mean,
lower
yeah,
for his
mean,
con save is a +5.
I
than do
figured
with his
he'd
dex
have high con, but like
saves.
all of my saves are strength and con, so it's like, what am I gonna do? In that case, he'll take half. But I mean, I rolled decent, so it's, it's 18.
Was that 18? So 9.
Yeah.
9 damage.
9 under.
And he doesn't get flown away.
No push.
But it does. There's like that kind of ripple to him, right? Like, and like sand just kind of like shimmers and a bunch of it kind of bursts off behind.
Then I'm just gonna conjure some wind to throw me backwards a little bit away from it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Whoop. All right. Back to Flick.
Did we notice, are any of these attacks seeming more or less effective?
They all seem to be of.
Seem to be working normally, but there's nothing that's
Yeah.
seems susceptible to. Okay. All right. Well, I'll move up. I will whip him twice. I like so. Hacha, hacha.
Hey.
Oh, actually, wait a second.
Uh-oh.
He actually takes that full damage from you, Talon. even though he failed. So I just need to add another 9 there.
Even though he succeeded?
That he succeeded. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, your thunder did like rip through him and seemed to have.
Neat. I'm doing that
Super-
again.
Yeah,
Super
Yeah.
effective.
yeah. As to literally just like blast the sand.
That's kind of
like,
what I was going for. I was like, well, he's made of sand. Like, just
blast particles away from him. Yeah.
dash him.
So I would say
Alright.
based on that, Fleck, yeah, you noticed that the thunder definitely did have a pretty
Oh
decent
man,
effect
booming blade.
on him.
Well, I've already rolled twice though, so
Mm.
I'll save those for next time. But it is
Both
noted.
of those hit.
Hooray! So there's
So an 18 does hit, yeah.
19 in total,
Okay.
and I guess I'm gonna do my job again. So I've moved about 15 feet. I'm gonna burn off his opportunity attack again.
Okay. He definitely will take a swing at you.
Jesus.
What? You're gonna kill Flick?
I can't even make this stuff up, man.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh,
So 26, huh?
26.
that's
Alright.
Are you
Big
even
As
kill.
you
still
run
up?
by him again, he just like
Oh, hey.
You all right, Flick?
No, I'm good.
You don't look good.
Maybe
Yeah,
that job should be
no,
reserved for somebody with a little bit more constitution.
hey man, I just click a button.
It's just
can
roll
I,
20's fault.
retroactively throw my Fury the Small on one of those for an extra 5 damage,
Sure.
just because I keep
He's
forgetting.
extra furious now.
Fury of the Flick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dinar, you watch Flick gets in a couple of good hits, and then as he runs away, just gets pummeled in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing just like slams him.
Unpleasant.
The last 10 feet of your movement, Flick, is like just momentum carried from the hit in the back. Like, oh.
Now, technical question, DM. We did a short rest,
Mhm.
but we did an undeclared short rest. Would it be within the realm of possibility that Dinar did arcane recovery during that time? Okay.
Yep. Anything that you were able to do during a short rest, I'd say you could have done. That's
Okay,
fine.
good. Then I have some first and second level spell slots again.
I'm of the mind that there are certain things like we can assume that adventurers and certain classes like
Yeah,
you're going to do
every time
like,
you get a chance
when you have
to.
rest and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Your
good.
characters know themselves better than their players do. Let's put it that way. For certain things.
For certain
Like, oh
things.
crap! I
yes.
forgot to eat.
All right.
Go to the bathroom.
I mean, I actually do forget to eat sometimes.
Thing.
All right. So
Start building that into.
let's see.
characters.
I can't decide what the best course of action is. So 10 and under, this goes to Torque. Okay. I'm gonna cast Reduce on the sand creature. So magical things in his hand, little illusory version of the sand creature, and then he's going to crunch his hands together and cast Reduce on the creature.
What's my save on that?
It has to make a Constitution saving throw of 15. I don't know if this is going to go well. Hey! Finally! So he is reduced. He's halved. And then
Becomes medium size.
becomes medium. And then he has disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. And the target's weapon also shrinks to match its new size. And it deals
Is his
1d4
weapon-
less damage. So his fist deal or whatever, it deals 1d4 less damage. To a minimum of 1. And satisfied with his accomplishments, that is Dinar's turn.
Okay. On its turn. Kind of like. It's going to go down that will allow Captain Boone to make an attack. So he'll take a swing at it. That'll hit.
Hey.
For 7 slashing. But it is going to burrow.
Crap.
He goes under the ground. Let's see. And he is going to burrow under the sand. You can actually see the sand like Talon's coming right for you.
Oh, goody.
You heard him.
Yeah, I did.
As he reappears in the sand in front of you and
Ow.
and hits you. So this will deal
+8's really dealing dividends here.
Yeah. Minus a D4.
so 16 bludgeoning as he just slams it right into you.
The only hit point that matters is the last one.
I'm hanging on to these 6.
Oh my
They're
goodness!
mine.
Wow.
I'm not getting them.
And as this is kind of standing in front of you again, you just hear this kind of like, it's less of like a voice and more of like the sound of an avalanche, but it's just like, fascinating. Captain Boone.
Don't try petting it.
Well, I got one hit in my longsword, but the other one missed, so I'm gonna stand back. I don't want to get hit by that thing. That just hits.
Ooh, yes.
Go, Captain. Hey, 5, it's something. Sand goes flying. Hits you, Talon, in the eyes. Ah! Captain inadvertently blinds you. No. Ah!
I don't need to see to cast Thunderwave.
Dork. Now about down to your size. But it's still about like good 8 feet. Like it's a medium, but it's still like
well,
a hefty thing.
anticipating another thunder wave. Orc is going to try and maneuver in a way that will cooperate with that.
Sorry, before we do that, actually no, it's because its turn is. Never mind. I was gonna see because it can make a con save on its turn, can't it? Against your reduce.
Oh, I believe that it can. It's never come up because I've only ever done it on friendly targets. If the target willing is unwilling, it can make a Constitution saving throw. Nope, that's
right. Just it'll apply for next turn if it can, because or a few turns past that. So just
okay.
on that.
I'll read. I'm not on my initial grasp. I'm not seeing anything that says they get a chance to throw later. But I'll reread this.
Normally that's how those work. But
Yeah, so Torg is going to maneuver up this way. And before he attacks, he's just going to say in Aqua and just Desfuna sends her regards. See if that registers anything. And then I'm going to ask it to make a dexterity save.
Okay.
Por favor.
There's like same way that you kind of like got the gist of that it was speaking some sort of primordial, it kind of does the same to you. Like it's kind of like, there's that high dex.
Oh, watch me roll a 1. Oh, 4. That's actually much better. Ignore the rage damage. I keep forgetting to untick that. But now I'll need to have it ticked because I'm going to make 2 more reckless attacks.
Nice. Go to town.
Nice.
26.
Yep.
That's going to be 8. Not great, but we can go again. And on the upswing, 18.
hits.
How about something better than 2 nat 1s?
Yeah.
All right.
Fine,
So 15.
Torque, as you come in, offer it a farewell in the name of your goddess Tisfuna, and you just two big slams. The first one you see it kind of like there's like these weird cracks kind of form, and your final slam, this entity just like shatters in a burst of sand that just collapses and scatters on the ground, and it is no more.
And is that
Good show.
Torque's
You
aura?
gotta kind of look around for a moment. Sand seems to be still. Nothing else moving. Captain's just like, not enough that the sea tries to kill us. Now the islands are trying to kill us too. What bloody hell's going on around here?
Yeah, that definitely cracked a rib.
Lads, do a quick search around here. I don't know how we can find if there's any more of them, but I don't want to be surprised by the island coming up beneath my britches as I sleep to try and swallow me whole or slam me,
Shovels.
Would Torque have encountered any of this during his isolation?
You did not. No.
All right, Flick. I'm gonna heal you.
What?
Though your heart it be broken or life about to end, no matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. 13 healing to you.
That's a little better.
Yeah.
Right.
Oof.
As we pause for a moment there for some healing and taking stock of the island, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
Let's shall.
Yep.
It's a good spot to do that, so we will be back shortly.
All ye.
hello. So anyways, what were we saying? No. We were talking about nothing, hearing, being elves, all good stuff. So as things kind of settled down after the unexpected fight on the island with a earth elemental of sand and clay that had been buried beneath the sand or here for some reason, things have kind of quieted now. The evening starts to draw on. The air starts to chill a little bit, but it's still a tropical night. It's quite pleasant, actually. There's a nice breeze in the air. The trees are just kind of slowly swaying. The fire is still burning. And Captain Boone just kind of sits down by the fire. He's abandoned, trying to build shelters at this point. He just sits. I ain't got much left in me right now, boys.
It's understandable, Cap. It's been quite a day.
Yeah, I think we all deserve a good rest at this point.
Here's hoping we can get one. The island doesn't try to kill us again.
Ever vigilant, my captain. I will take the first watch. And I am now armed with a shovel, and I'm just walk a couple of feet and stab the ground periodically. Just
Before we get to that, I mean, we all got our eyes and ears and wits about us, so let's come and try and enjoy a moment by the fire if we can. I think we deserved it.
Like is now leaning on the shovel with it sort of jabbed nice and deep into the ground.
got a bit of a conundrum at the moment, actually. You see, I hired you, the four of you, brought you on at different ports and different times and the like, but to more or less be muscle aboard my Intrepid Devil. I found myself lacking a ship. Not quite sure where that puts us. Can't exactly ask you to guard a ship that is gone.
Are you saying we're fired?
No, not at all. The very least, it's. I wanted to put that question out to you there. What we might be planning as we draw closer to Porto de Arias. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to find a ship anytime soon. I got to put some feelers out. I got some contacts. I might be able to call in a few favors, but in the meantime, I don't know if I can really call myself your employer. Be happy to call you companions. Like I said, it's a bit of a conundrum. I'm not quite sure how to approach this. Captain without a ship.
Well, I'm sure we can get you a new ship at some point.
I mean, if you're the man with the contacts, it's not like I know anyone with a boat. You can rustle up a ship. I'll gladly serve under you again, Captain. And in the meantime, we will serve the interests of the former Intrepid Devil.
It's mighty noble of you, Flick.
Come what may tomorrow, we will either find a ship or we won't. For now, your fish is getting cold, Captain.
Hey. Well, I figured I'd just put it out there anyway that if you'll decide to move on to find other things once we arrive in port, I'm definitely not going to hold that against you. Man's gotta make money to eat. So if we find other employment, other means, well, anyway. To this island. Piece of cursed sand that it is. Being our temporary refuge, as it were. Better than the bottom of the sea.
Amen to that.
I'll drink to that, Captain.
You think so, but the whole world's out to get us, seems.
Well, initially, what was the name of your buddy that we were headed to the port to see in the first place? Could he hook us up with a ride?
That's not really his specialty. His name's Jordan. He's a wizard of fine repute. He's been around a long time, knows a lot of things. He's done some work with the Ivory Spire at times in the past. I believe he was housed there for several decades. But he sort of does his own thing. He doesn't really work for any of the houses in the port, but he often does things for them. He sort of does his own, follows his own interests, but earns the respect of quite a few people, myself included. He knows a lot about a lot of things. He knows where to get information if he doesn't have it.
If he can suss out what the heck they're doing in that Ivory Spire, there's bound to be people who want to stop it. My inclination is they're up to no good. If they're up to altruistic means, then more power to them. But I got the Wiggins about the whole thing that's going on there, and I bet you there's others that will be of like mind, and they'll set us up right proper before you know it, Captain, because we're in on the ground floor in this operation.
Well, I do know that one of the reasons that Jordan left Aspire a long time ago is he had fallen out with a number of individuals there and didn't quite see eye to eye on things, and so he decided to take his skills and his knowledge elsewhere.
Yeah, I bet.
But he does still have contacts, from what I understand.
I would love to hear his insight on their general outlook on magic and what their place in the world is, and what they tend to be up to. And when we feed him this extra intel, I'm super curious to find out what he has to say.
I do have to warn you. He's old. Older than any human ought to be. And though he's mighty smart, he's a bit, shall we say, untethered.
A little eccentric, perchance.
He's like a rigging line flapping in the wind without a mooring sometimes. He's
another gnome then. Understood.
I believe Torch made a joke, intentional or not. No, he's a human, but just when you live as long as he has, as a human, no offense, Taylor, mine tends to age a little bit quicker on you. Some of us other folk, dwarves and the like, we tend to live a little bit longer. It's sort of natural, it's the way it is, but you humans have short lives. I have no idea how he's lived as long as he is. I know he's well over 100. Lived more than a century. Probably some of his magic or something he's got going on there, but
yes, I would imagine so.
Dinar, I think you might be interested in a few things that he has to teach, perhaps. He's quite skilled in the arcane ways, much like yourself.
I look forward to meeting him then.
100 years old, that is like 3 goblin generations. He would be a revered, venerable master in my people.
Well, that's right. Goblins, you don't live that long either.
Especially in the slave camps, let me tell you.
You haven't talked much about where you're from, Flick.
It's not a lot to say, Captain. Glad I'm not there anymore. Wish I could have brought more with me.
I hear you.
Well, if we're ever happen to be nearing that location, count me
Alright.
in. You want to pull something?
Try to avoid careful as a matter of desire to stay alive, but perhaps business of one sort or another will draw us that way, even if that might be our business. Who knows what the future holds?
You may also want to check and see that the sand didn't jam the mechanism of that pistol you're holding.
Yeah. Around this time, I think I'm going to start looking at that new fancy one I got.
Where did you acquire that? Was that you get that off that ship that sank us?
Yeah, swiped it from one of them pirates.
Wait, now that thing ain't got none of that black tentacly stuff coming off of it now, does it? You see him reaching for his own pistol, like just backing up, like.
Frankly speaking, I don't think he had it originally. I'm pretty sure they took it off someone too. You know, pirates.
Right, but if it was on that ship, and whatever was on that ship seemed to affect them, and also affected our ship, them being on our ship and killing our. Just, hey, Dinar, you know anything about that,
Be sure to rinse it first, Captain.
What was that stuff? Was it magic? I feel like you mentioned it was black and moving.
I mean, that seemed more organic than arcane. I do use the word organic loosely.
It definitely seemed similar to the effect that those creatures had, right? It was, rather than affecting a person, it was affecting the ship. But
Yeah.
It's just plain unnatural.
And of all the times I normally pipe in with my detect magic, I did not, in our 4-hour trek back to the land, think to do that, so I couldn't conclude either way.
You getting any ping off that then right now?
I could check if you want to take a couple minutes.
We got nothing but time at the moment. We're all sitting around a fire enjoying a good meal.
Can I do that? Yes, I can. Yeah, all right. I'll sit down and pull out my arcane bits and start casting detect magic.
Alrighty. So you're doing a ritual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my last spell slot.
Okay.
we won't have another combat tonight.
As soon as your spell takes hold, the pistol does begin to glow ever so slightly. And you pick up a transmutation vibe off of it.
Interesting.
You also detect just the slightest hint kind of around you, the island itself. For a moment, you're like, oh, there's a lingering like conjuration kind of presence, but it is fading. Even as your magic goes out there, it is lessening and lessening, and I'd say within a moment you kind of gathered that whatever the elemental, whatever presence, magical essence of the elemental had, it is wearing off. So it was probably connected to that, but it is fading, it is dissipating away.
Well, Captain, I got some good news, and I got some interesting news. Start with the good news. The good news is that it seems like killing that elemental thing is having a positive effect in our way, taking away some of that conjuration magic that seems to have permeated the entire little sandbar that we're on.
Good.
So that's good.
All right.
The interesting news is that gun is very much magical. Transmutation magic in particular. But it is very much magical.
What that means, but
Well, Based on my intensive studies, Captain, transmutation is the school of magic that turns crap into other crap.
So that pistol, what? Not a pistol? It is a pistol, but it ain't a pistol, but it can be.
Maybe it's a pistol that turns into a rifle, or it's a pistol that shoots jello. I don't know, man. We'll have to,
Yeah, did we actually see...
Maybe it's a healing pistol. Torque, come here.
Matter of
I
principle.
wish you would check and see if it's loaded.
Friends.
I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
Quick examination of the pistol. It does seem to kind of have your standard firing pin. You know, loads like a standard flintlock pistol would.
Torque is just gonna.
But the
see what
barrel
he's-
does seem to have a different kind of shaping to it, and now with the slight glow coming off of it from the transmutation.
If you want to lighten the mood, perhaps exercise some trigger discipline.
As he points it at himself.
One bullet west. I'll load it up with the shot and just pick a random tree. Just
maybe pick one that's like on the other side over there.
yeah, away from the group. Yeah, I'm not gonna shoot.
You know,
him.
like one way up there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
In case it explodes.
Go ahead and make a ranged attack for me. Just as if you were using your own
Okie doke.
pistol.
24.
24. Roll a 1d6 for me, please.
Neat. 2.
2. As you shoot, for a moment, nothing happens. You don't see, like, you load the bullet, and the bullet just kind of, there's a puff, you don't see anything. There's like a quick little flash of lightning, almost, of electricity, lightning that kind of hits the spot on the tree where you've aimed it.
See, Captain? Crap into other crap.
Yeah, do that again.
Wait, what did the tree turn into?
No, the tree got hit by a little
Oh.
of lightning instead of a bullet.
Mm.
Talon, do that again, and let's see if it does the same thing or if it changes each time.
All right. I mean,
Spin the barrel.
I've only got so many bullets.
Yeah, but
That's not like I can go get them back.
Yeah, it does take ammunition as normal. Okay, go ahead and roll.
Take another
He's gonna roll another 2.
shoot. 14.
It's a tree, so sure. Roll a 1d6 for me.
5.
5. Okay. This time, there's like a sound wave, kind of like similar to your thunder wave. The tree now kind of.
I like this thing.
did the monster that had that, did he hit any of us with his shots, or did he miss all of them?
No, I made sure he didn't get any of those shots off.
Can I just say I'm very glad that he missed.
So the properties of this pistol seem to be that it fires, rather than a standard bullet, as you load the bullets and fire, you have a 1 in 6 chance of firing some sort of elemental damage.
Neat.
I'll send you the stats of that.
Sounds good.
That's amazing.
I'm very happy with that. They were lightning and thunder. I'm on board with this. So-
Yeah, I was like, there you go.
Is it like a different element for every barrel?
I think it's a different element depending on what he rolls.
Yeah, so as for basically when you shoot with it, you roll a 1d6, and it's acid, fire, lightning, thunder, cold, or poison.
Wow.
Neato.
Other different types of damage that it can do.
So it's
depending
like
on what you
it's
roll.
like chaos bolt as a pistol.
Essentially.
That's neat.
I'd say the more like as you're experimenting with it, you would come to understand that it has essentially a limited number of charges per day, and that it will turn into different elementals. And other than that, if you expend the charges, then it would just fire a standard bullet.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very nice. And if all else fails, I now have 2 of them. Just in case, you know.
Indeed.
That will come in handy.
Especially if we need to kill any more trees. Or if
Ah,
those
hey,
trees
you know-
try to kill us. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, man.
Yeah, or sandcastles. You never know.
Jeez.
Gotta show them trees who the boss is. It's the man with the gun.
Dinar, you ever had an island try to kill you before?
Yes, let's hear another one of your fascinating naval war stories.
Well, I mean, you know what? You guys have been patient. So sure, if you guys want to hear a story,
This fish is really good, guys.
let's
Yeah, let's get another round of grog.
So as they get another round of grog, does somebody want to go ahead and
What?
roll somebody roll a D8 for me.
Okay,
Ooh.
I'll do that. I'm the one who provoked it. 6.
6. That actually lines up with what the captain asked. All right.
Wow.
All right, Captain. So, I mean, it wasn't exactly the island that tried to kill me. But there was this one time. I was tasked with my buddy Bori from our ship. We were stopping by this little island, it was relatively little. We were grabbing some food. They were told to go out there and find some berries and maybe, if there was game there, kill something and bring it back for meat. This island had lush trees and wildlife, but no real signs of civilization. It seemed pretty barren. And we were supposed to catch some food, grab some veg, like anything that we could grab. Well, the vegetation was really easy. It was like all over the place. It seemed to be quite fertile. Like within the first 100 feet or so, we found this trove of vegetables and fruits and berry bushes and all of that just sitting there. So we grabbed a whole bunch of it and gathered it up and went back to the shore to dump our spoils into the boat that we had taken ashore. And when we were turning back around looking for our meaty kill, we noticed there was this small little creature, maybe 2 feet tall, that was standing just at the edge of the tree line. And as we turned around,
Halfling?
no, it wasn't a halfling. This was like some
No.
kind of bipedal lizard, you know. So we turn around and we see this thing that's sitting there, and it catches eyes of us and it darts back into the brush. So we gave chase and we followed it to what I'm guessing was a rather large nest in the ground. And there we saw a few more of these little creatures. They were, milling about, digging through the dirt and whatnot. But no sign of like a mother or father or a parent at all. So we prepared to get in there. There's 5 or 6 of these little things. We thought that'd be a good haul back to the ship. That would be nice. But as we were getting ready to jump out, some absolutely gigantic creature just comes swooping in over our heads. It lands right in the center of the nest, and all the little ones start chirping up at it. This was clearly like its parent. This massive winged creature thing had been clutching something in its talons, and it released what looked to be the remains of a couple of really unfortunate pirates. So Bori and I, scared out of our minds, we backed up quietly and tried to get away because we realized if this thing saw us, we were probably its next meal. But as we did, in all my clumsy glory, I snapped several twigs. So, I mean, you could guess what happened next. Bori and I are we're running for our lives through this. No, we didn't get eaten because I'm here.
Right.
But so we're running through the forest. We're running for our lives here. I'm not daring to look over my shoulder. Giant thing, massive teeth chomping us to bits if we do. We reach the beach and we push on hard to the boat. When we get in, we turn around. I prepare a spell. He prepares his pistols. Back towards the jungle, but nothing we saw coming through in pursuit. So, maybe it didn't hear my clumsiness. Well, we decided we had enough adventure for the day, and we very cautiously and slowly rowed back to the ship. And when we got there, the Captain Galrak, was mighty glad to see us. He was actually a little bit surprised that we were coming back unscathed. You see, he'd gotten word from the mainland by a sending spell that we'd accidentally made landfall in the home of someone's failed science experiment. It was like someone trying to bring dragons back to our lands by splicing their DNA with other creatures, trying to force the hands of the gods to bring these ancient creatures back to life. I mean, these things were massive, like as tall as our ship. Well, our ship that is now at the bottom of the ocean. You know, teeth the size of long swords and legs the size of tree trunks. You guys asked for a story, so I'm sharing a story about an island that tried to kill me. Anyways, this failed science experiment, it seemed like they spared no expense making that monstrosity.
That island wasn't around here, was it?
No. This was way out west. Other side of the Gungor Mines. What was that, Tayland?
Nothing.
Okay.
Flick, what rhymes with monstrosity?
Our bard was just showing a bit of reciprocity to your story.
Torque, what rhymes with monstrosity?
Recipe? What he said? Rest in peaceity.
I didn't know you could read, Torque.
I'm still not sure that you can.
Oh no, I can definitely read.
Perhaps you could try reading a room sometime.
Oh, Torque. Oh. You're full of surprises, my friend. Here. Well, that was quite the tale, Dinar. Remind me not to let you lead any hunts in the jungles for us, if that's we find ourselves in that situation.
Yeah.
To be fair, we led a very successful hunt. That just happened to be a crazy island.
Well, yes. Some wizards.
But before this island, I wouldn't have agreed with you. But when an island tries to kill you, yeah.
Some wizards.
I've read some books. I'll glare at Torque. That have referenced whole islands that are actually giant turtles, and the islands rest upon their shell. Have you seen anything like that, Dinar?
Can't say that I have. No.
I sail all over these seas. I ain't seen anything like that before. Mind you, haven't seen any islands try to kill me either, so I suppose it's possible. I'd rather not meet an island that
Brought it up at a bar once, and a guy said that the world itself is also on the back of a giant turtle. I'm not sure about that one.
I don't believe that one.
Because I asked him what that turtle was on, and he said it was on another turtle. And then he basically just said that it was turtles all the way down. It didn't make any sense to me. Besides, the Holy Scripture at the Temple of Disfuna, it kind of already has a lot of that stuff sorted out, so...
It would be like a turtle on a turtle on a turtle on a turtle.
Torque is just gonna let that bait fly right past him.
On a turtle on a turtle. I mean, how many turtles can you stack on top of one another? Would you reckon?
I can't rightly say I've ever tried. The last time I was with others of my kind was a while ago.
Fair. Maybe we'll have to try experiment sometime.
Oh,
Find any of them tiny turtles. Tiny turtles, I mean, you know, the kind of... Anyway.
Talen's going to walk up over to Torque.
Don't lose sleep over this, Captain.
And he's going to just be whispering a few things as he does so. And he'll walk out behind Torque. He won't walk out the other end. Instead, a tiny turtle will crawl up behind Torque's shell and sit on top of his shoulder.
Captain just kind of looks.
You see Torque's eye just kind of swivel over to it, and then just kind of twitch, and then he just looks straight ahead again.
Oh, he's making like the...
Just perfectly still.
Flick.
Land on his back.
No, he leaves it there. He leaves it there, but he just does not. He tries not to react.
Nice. Well, gents, maybe we'll be blessed enough by the schooner to get some sleep tonight.
The turtle nods.
Your deity telling you anything there, Torque? Got any sense of fair or foul weather coming our way? Or maybe we'll be island try to kill us again? These trees gonna come alive and try to turn us into paper?
There has been one thing weighing heavily on my mind.
The turtle climbs on top of your head.
I wonder if there is any sort of correlation between our encounter with the Redwater Pirates and the creature that we encountered in the shallows, both of which, in their own ways, were perversions of the natural order.
Indeed.
I just wonder if they stem from a common catalyst.
You think there might be some other force at work?
Possible.
Not the work of Desfuna, though. She ain't into that sort of thing, is she?
From what she has said to me, I am led to believe otherwise. However,
Interesting.
I cannot at this time completely rule out that possibility.
Well, I sure hope that it ain't her coming after us. What, trying to sink us and kill us and the like, because that might put us at odds, you understand? I like you, Torque.
If this is another test of my faith, then I welcome it. I will do everything in my power to ensure that you are not caught in the crossfire.
Turtles
Appreciate
laugh.
that.
Two turtles laugh.
I imagine a turtle's laugh would be like,
Perhaps if you ever say anything amusing, you will find out.
Wow, the turtle on your head's laughing, or attempting to anyway.
man, Torque is just burning Talon.
Torque just stands up. I'm going to do a perimeter check before we retire.
Fair enough.
The turtle will climb down as you stand up, and Talon will walk back out from behind you. Whoa, that was weird. You see, there's like something going. Oh, whatever.
Careful, Talon. He could squash you, you know.
Oh, he certainly could, but I don't think Desfuna would like that.
Who's to say? Well, we're gonna roll to shore tomorrow. It's been a long day. Weird day. I need some shut eye. Whatever I can get. See you in the morning, gents.
See you in the
Kind
morning.
of gets
Cap.
up, takes one last swig. Doesn't even bother. You can see over like under the trees where the rest of the crew is like passed out. They've kind of pulled like canvas over, and they were in the process of like trying to create some like lean-tos and stuff when the elemental appeared, and so that was just abandoned. It's basically just like, sure, I'll cover myself with that, and that's kind of what the camp has become. And so the captain just kind of does similar, and he finds a spot where he just kind of makes up like a makeshift bed kind of underneath one of the trees, pulls a bedroll out of a pack, and then just settles in. No blanket or anything, just kind of open to the sky. Hat over his head.
How many bottles of
Beer on the wall.
liquid do we have?
That was
on
my
this
next
island?
question.
You've got plenty.
Okay.
Probably about a crate full.
When
Okay,
people
yeah,
start turning in, Dinar's gonna stay awake just a little bit longer and grab a bottle and take a walk to the shore. Not that
Talon will grab a bottle, but he is going to settle down underneath a nice tree. No, he's gonna start downing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The idea being down, pass out. 'Cause he doesn't want to have to walk back to the tree afterwards.
Orc is going to find a spot of shade near, reasonably far from the rest of the group, and he's just going to sit there in silence for a second and look down at his hand, which is beginning to shake, and just try and clasp it, hold it still, and attempt to get some sleep.
Flick does see you go off to yourself, and he's going to come over because he did volunteer to do the first watch. So as everyone's sort of settling in, he's going to come over to Torque. Like, hey, little guy, before you settle in, I know Teelan's been needling you kind of hard. Cut on some slack. He's got history, right?
Don't we all?
He's working through some stuff. So I found I give him a bit of slack and play into his gags a bit, react appropriately, and I'll leave you the hell alone.
Don't tell him I told you this. There are times when I find his antics quite mirthful.
You and me both, brother.
But there is an anger at the core of him. Some great wrong that he is setting out to right.
Yeah,
It's an intoxicating brew. Much
yeah.
more potent than any of the other drink that he partakes in.
It's gonna chew him up. It's gonna eat him from the inside, just like that gut rot that he likes drinking. I tell you. Anyway, heavy words. Have a good night. I'm gonna walk a perimeter and make sure that the sand doesn't rise up and smother us in our sleep. Good night. And
Good night. Flick
walk
the dog
off and
slicer.
start stabbing the ground with my shovel.
Okay.
Dinar is going to take the bottle and maybe a glass that he saw Tayland pouring the drinks into to pour into the ocean earlier. He's going to take it right up to the water's edge and pour one glass and drink for himself, and then he's going to pour another and hold it up out in front of him, maybe towards the moon if it's out. And he's going to dump that into the ocean. Going to pour another one, the same thing, dump it into the ocean.
It's a good thing Talen's asleep.
Yeah. Then he's going to hold that glass out in front of him and think quietly for a moment and then start to pour and continue pouring and continue and continue. The cup is overflowing. Just keep going until the bottle is empty. And I kind of look at it and rattle it, see there's nothing left, and toss it aside and hold that up to the moon and dump that out. And then as he's turning back around, he's just going to crush that glass in his hand and throw the glass into the ocean and then find a nice tree to settle down under.
All right.
And meanwhile, Flick is pass, and he's like stabbing the ground. Like, good night, D. Stabbing the ground.
Good night,
No
Flick.
emotional catharsis to be found here. Just an old
Doing a mighty fine job, Flick. Keep it up.
beachcombing goblin.
Yep.
Look, give me a perception check as you're making your rounds, if you would.
Let's go, boys, go.
Hey, there it is.
Kind of working your way around the island.
Oh, what the crap.
Shovel hit something.
More mystery boxes. Did it feel like rock or wood?
Kind of up around this northern end. Actually, this would be the western edge of the island, actually, because it's north, south. Yeah, so that's west. It feels like not quite rock, but not sand either. Something hard, but with a little bit of give, like.
Like a sort of clay substance.
Not clay.
All right, listen, Island. You and me have had a bit of history already. I'm going to exhume whatever this is, and you're not going to jump out and kill the crap out of me, okay? I will slowly, gently start clearing out an area, see if I can find what it is I hit.
Okay. Work for a few minutes, clearing off some of the sand, and you can see now what are clearly planks. Wood. A little bit deeper, clear a little bit more sand. It would appear to be your stereotypical chest buried under sand.
Hey.
Awesome. I will continue to clear it out. How big are we talking? Is it a little one? Is it a big one? Is it...
It's about 2 feet wide by about a foot and about a foot. So kind of like a Foot Locker style, like.
Perfect. It's like
yeah,
definitely the size I could drag back to camp.
Yeah, it's got a thick wrought iron padlock on it, on the front of it.
Awesome. Oh, I think it's time to enlist Dee's favorite trick here. We'll drag this back to camp, and I'm far too hurt to be greedy tonight. And Lord only knows what's in here, so yeah, I'll drag it back to the camp and continue my perimeter. I'll walk my patrol till my shift is done. Who am I getting up next? Who had volunteered for the second shift?
Yeah, Dinar will go next.
Perfect. So I will rouse you and say, "Hey D, found buried treasure. If you want to do your mojo on it and see if there's anything good in there before I start tinkering with that rusty old lock."
That's fair. Okay.
It goes on watch. Hey, I found buried treasure.
You found buried treasure just walking around. And... Wow.
Hey, man,
Damn it. Come on, Flick.
Wow. That's impressive, Flick.
Hey, man,
I'll take a
I'm
look
not
at
the
it.
lookout for nothing.
That's
Seriously.
true. That's true.
But I'm
I'll
also like beat, so I'm gonna hit the rack, and we can sort this box out in the morning, right?
Yep, that's fair. I'll
You can trust Dinar not to take a peek. He's not like that.
Hey.
He doesn't have a history of peeking at things he's not supposed to be looking at.
That's fair.
So yes, Flick will rig himself up a little hammock between a couple high branches, so that he can still be up high. Because he likes having he's gotten used to the perch and the lookout, so he's going to be up high.
So the one tree kind of significantly larger, like a royal palm, that you can get a good distance up of it, probably.
Beautiful. And that's where I will be.
And Dinar will start his watch by using his last spell total.
Well, you're rested now, so.
Oh, but I wanted to use that last one instead of burning
okay,
fresh
sure,
one.
fine. We'll say that you'll complete your long rest after this, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
you're on second watch, so
All
sure.
right. Thank you. All right, so I'll burn my last, my third level spell slot to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Like the most egregious use of a third level spell. So yeah, I will ritual cast Detect Magic on the chest.
If you're doing ritual, you don't need to use your spell slot for it. So.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
I'm
just
such
takes-
a
That's why
noob.
it's
Seriously?
ritual. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why it's ritual.
That's the point of ritual casting it.
I thought it was just that I didn't have to have it prepared.
That too.
That as well.
So it's not. It doesn't have to be prepared, and it doesn't expend a spell slot.
Yeah, it just takes 10 times the casting time.
Oh, wow.
So here's how it works, right?
Wow.
If you have it prepared, you can cast it instantly.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
don't have it prepared, you must cast it as a ritual.
Okay.
So if you want to use it prepared, then you don't have to take the 10 minutes. You just go detect magic.
Well, no, I never have it prepared because it's ritual and it's not like an in the moment thing usually.
Then you're not using spell slots for it.
Wow. All right. Well,
Wizards are pretty great.
I feel like a major noob, and I've definitely wasted spell slots in the past.
That is okay. Dinar is learning his craft.
Dinar,
I mean, that's one of those sort of wizard only kind of things.
It
Right.
is, yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. All right. This is my first time playing a wizard, so there we go.
All right. Either way, after applying casting the spell, just nothing magical pings on the chest at all.
Okay. All right, then satisfied with that, Dinar will just sit around the fire and take watch.
Okay. The magic that was kind of clinging to the island is completely gone now too. There's no sense of anything
That's
around.
good.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah. So the rest of your watch goes peacefully for the sense of expediency. The night passes without incident as you change off your watches, and the morning comes. It is a nice day. A little bit windier than the previous day as the sun rises and camp rouses. And you can see now the wind has caused a little bit of extra waves between the island and the shore, but nothing substantial. Some low white caps here and there, but nothing too serious.
I think this is the first time that the group has all actually had like a full rest out in the open together.
That's true.
So
First time we've woken up feeling rested.
well, so this would be the first time that everyone would have had to have witnessed Tayland waking up hungover and having to deal with that for the first half hour before he actually gets up. And as he rolls over to kind of wake up, blinks, you can see a silver pendant around his neck has fallen out of his shirt in his sleep. It looks to be a holy symbol of Desfuna, and he quickly grabs that, shoves that back in his shirt, and starts to get up.
Desfuna or Marantha? I thought you were at the...
Whichever.
Marantha would have been the wave song.
That one then.
Temple, yeah. Desfuna is Torx.
I say that would have been a
Right,
much different
sorry.
twist.
Freudian slip. Freudian slip there.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. I know when you're gods that I've created, you gotta remember it's all good. That's what I'm
Yeah.
Tayland, actually, if you could give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I certainly can. 13.
Takes you a little bit to get over your hangover, but you managed to rouse yourself from the previous night's drinking, and other than a headache, don't suffer from it.
I'll take it.
You can see Captain staring at this chest that has just appeared by the fire in the middle camp, and he's like,
Oh, that's new. What?
Spoils of my labor. Thank you very much.
Man, Flick, you are efficient.
wait, where? How?
So I was out walking and I was stabbing the island to make sure it wasn't going to rise up and kill us all in the night.
As one
As
does.
one does.
Indeed.
We appreciate
We'll
it.
do from now on.
And I hit this thing, so I dug it up and ta-da. D, was there any magic to it, or is this just a plain old chest?
Nah, man, that's just a chest. Nothing magical about it.
You guys haven't opened it yet.
Shovel comes up,
Nope.
shovel comes down, I'm chopping that lock off.
What? That seems a bit excessive.
I think it seems appropriate.
Go ahead and make a straight strength check for me then. Yeah, you're trying blunt force with the shovel, right? So
Yeah. Oh, I understand.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
It's a flat 17.
Just like the tip of the spade just hits like right in that spot where the pin kind of goes in, and just you just watch it go and drop off. A little bit of seawater comes pouring out of the inside of the lock. You can see the rust on the inside now. It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
There was no picking that. All right.
Salt tends to corrode.
Yeah, a little bit. So
Once it
I'll
happens.
then use the shovel to lever open the top and see what we got.
Quite creaky, and you can see a lot of the wood now. This chest is old. This has been here for quite some time.
Old could be
And
good.
you prop it open. As you kind of pop it open, the hinges on the inside just kind of like just like burst as the top of the lid just kind of falls off, and you can see a little bit of corrosion, like rotten stuff on the inside of the wood. But you're not paying too much attention to that because the inside of the chest is shiny. It is filled with gold.
Hey.
Excellent.
Gork just looks in over Flick's shoulder and says, "Hooray, a down payment on our new vessel. Let's keep moving before something else tries to eat us."
Couldn't agree more. Quick head count here. How much are we looking at here?
There's 350 gold pieces total.
Nice.
Nice.
You're looking like you're doing a count of the gold?
Mm-hmm.
Give me an investigation check, please.
Ooh. Investigation says 19.
As you're counting the gold, Flick, something of particular note for you, as you're flipping a couple of coins and you notice the markings on them. These are slaver coins.
Son of a bitch.
Forged at Caraful,
Oh.
typically used in the slave trade by slavers paying for slaves.
Yeah, we're melting this crap.
Sorry, what?
Gold bullion has the same value as the coins it was made from, I assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could make bars in the but why?
This
Sorry.
this is pressed currency for people. And that
Oh, son
ain't
of a...
right. But
We
the
got
coin-
Caraful coins there.
That's right, Captain. And let me
At
tell
least-
you, I don't like them. And I just start banding the one that I got.
At least these particular ones won't be used for that purpose anymore.
Damn right they won't.
We could probably find somebody in Porto Darius that would be willing to exchange these for us and then melt them. They don't take too kindly to slavers there either.
Yeah, we don't want to be associated. We're not using these coins as is.
No. What I'm saying is,
Yeah, these are salvage, and we need to sell it as that because, yeah.
the houses of Porto Darius are definitely believe in a person's freedom to not be sold or bought. You will not find slavers in Porto Darius. You will not find anyone who associates with slavers. So, but gold is gold. So,
Seem
they're
awfully
more than happy to
confident about
trade.
that.
Oh, I am. If you've ever spent any amount of time in Porto Darius, you'd be confident too. Nobody who does business with slavers or goes anywhere near Careful would dare sail near these waters, let me tell you that.
Obviously, that's not true.
Well, there's a question as to how this gold got here. The fact that it's buried says a lot. Somebody trying to hide something.
But it's been here a while, so
It has been here. This chest looks mighty old.
are there any distinguishing markings on it at all, or is it just a box?
The chest, yeah, it's just old wood.
So best case scenario, the previous owner is long dead. Worst case scenario, we're robbing a slaver of his rainy day fund. I see no issue either way.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would invert your best and worst cases, but otherwise, yeah.
Well, Flick, I'll make you this promise. If we don't find anybody in town that's willing to do a trade for some clean gold, as it were, I'll do that myself. I'll take this off your hands and give you a 350. I got a couple of funds lying around a few places that I can collect, so I understand.
If at all possible, if it's being melted down, perhaps I could get something commissioned involving that. I'm looking to get something gilded.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
as long as
For melting
Just as
down
long-
gold, I mean, that seems the easiest way to get something gilded to me.
just
Be
as
time for
long as
that
you
in
can
town.
still cover your part of the ship payment, Bard.
Hey, now, I don't expect any of you all to pitch in for that. That's
Trust me, Torque. The last thing I want is to be stuck here without a ship.
The
I
last
don't
thing
want
I
any
want.
of you worrying about that.
We'll just see about that, Captain.
I think first things first, we got to get to port before we worry about new boats.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? How many miles is it?
Oh, we got about in these current waves, probably got about 4 hours till we make land, and then from there, depending on how fast we move, we can make it there in about a day and a half. Day if we don't sleep and rush right through the night.
Well,
I don't know
walking
about
wounded,
that.
how you guys feeling this morning? Dave, other Dave.
You know, it's
We're doing all right. Torque did a pretty good job patching us up and a good night's sleep. We're fine.
All right, you're now Stitches, by the way.
Hey, you're not a real pirate unless you've got a stitch mark somewhere.
Oh, all right. I kind of like that, actually. I've never had a nickname before.
So we got Stitches, Dave, and other Dave. As well as Lefty and Shorty, obviously.
Lefty and Shorty.
Obviously. Can't forget about Lefty and Shorty. Righty went down with the ship, unfortunately. But...
Bad day.
All right.
I guess we'll load up the boats and head over to the shore.
Okay.
Bard, if you need to retch, please lean over the side of the boat before you do so.
I agree. As you
Nothing cures a hangover like a good sweet intake of sea salt air.
After a nice fatty breakfast, yeah.
looking across at the shore, so Flick, as you noted before, sort of the more open sandy areas are kind of more to the south, and directly across from you can see there's a lot of rocky shore. There are a couple of coves here and there, and I'd say you, with kind of your vision and your perception, there's about 3 different spots that you can kind of pick out that would be a good spot to sail to row for. One, like directly across, is probably the most direct route, but it looks like you're sailing mostly into rocks. You can kind of, even from this distance, you can make out that there looks like there's some pock marks that almost look like caves, perhaps, like seaside caves in the rocks. You can go a little bit further north and you can see that there is a sandy cove kind of cut out of the rocks, and then further south is, you can see some beach, some open beach area.
Now, based on my recollection, any one of these 3 is going to be about equidistant. Like we're still looking at the same hike through the jungle, regardless of which one we land at.
The further south that you row, you might cut off like a couple hours of a hike. Yeah.
Not a huge savings, but all right. I will relay that to the oarsmen and say, all right, we got 3 choices here, and we want to head as south as we can. That'll shave off a few hours, but looks like the center one is the like, is there relative difficulty to these landings, or like?
Straight ahead is the shortest rowing, but you would assume that trying to find purchase, where it's more rocky, makes for a bit more of a difficult landing. So the easiest landing would be further south. The quickest trek across the water would be straight ahead. Relative combination of both, so a little bit easier landing, but not quite as easy as the sort of sand to the south would be a cove that you can spot a little bit further north up the shore.
All right.
But that would add a little bit of land to trek.
So those are our options. We can have the middle ground, which makes a longer trek on shore. We can go straight ahead, which is going to be, it's a shorter row, but a longer walk and a harder landing. Or we can head south and have the shortest walk and the easiest landing, which sounds like...
You say, gents.
After the troubles that we've had, I'd vote for the easiest option.
Yeah, a little longer on the rowing.
Hard to argue with that. I don't even have to row. I've got powers over the sea and sky.
La-di-da.
Meanwhile,
We're doing that then.
Yeah, I think the South Beach sounds like the best choice.
What do you think, Torque? What's your wisdom say right now?
Wisdom says to side with the majority.
In this case, I don't see any reason to object to that, so that'll probably make our row about maybe a couple more hours, so probably about 6 hours or so, half a day there. But once we get there, it'll be a little bit easier to find our way inland, not have to traverse them rocks and the lack. So,
I personally have paddled for 6 hours. If I can do it, we sure as hell can.
Yeah.
All right. South it is then, gents. Let's get to the boats and make way. Leave this cursed sand pit behind us.
Yeah, one last good stab with the shovel just to make
Spits
sure
down on it.
Dead. Yep.
Oh, and don't forget that gold there. Let's make sure we get that.
Oh, she's well packed. Don't you worry, Captain.
Perfect.
We're not forgetting the gold. That's not happening.
All right. So you leave the island.
Good riddance.
And
well, I mean, hey, we found some gold.
We had a nice meal.
Wasn't a terrible island, I suppose. I've been on worse islands.
So you're kind of heading in this direction, making for a little spot, kind of right in this spot in the bay right there. I'll just bring you a little bit closer to Porto de Arias. And as you make land on the beach, you find lots of flotsam and jetsam, kind of some buried in the sand, some overgrown with jungle growth, and it would appear that this side of the island has seen many shipwrecks, many things, and folk have washed ashore. And as you're unpacking the boats, kind of bringing them up on the sand, you all turn as the sound of this rustling, and probably just about 40, 50 feet off where this kind of line of trees, a lone figure wearing what looks like kind of animal hides, very, very rough, very loose, just kind of hanging, tattered, long, black and gray hair, thick beard, looks roughly same height and stature as Captain Boone, and you can see this dwarven individual step out holding this long stick and just goes, "What y'all doing on my island?" And that's where we're gonna end.
Ah.
Say, look, it's human Torque. A dwarf fort.
Oh man.
Pick it up there next time.
Nice.
All right.
Well done.
Wow.
You done fought an island.
Yeah, we did.
Did.
Flick almost died. Well, not really, but
I got hit really hard.
I also did. I got brought down from 73 to like 46.
You
Yeah.
know, right? Like that's almost dying.
Barbarians are great if you can get them early before they can rage. They get
it's true.
they get real angry about getting taken damage. It's not halved. It's great.
Yeah. Well, after it hit you, like its mentality was like, "That's a big one. I'll go with that one." Right? Like what looks like the biggest threat.
Yeah, take some pieces off the board.
Yeah.
Nice.
But nice. There's some interesting some rolls there and some interesting stuff to come. So
Yep.
Well done, gents. Thank you for joining us and hanging out with us. And if you want to find us in other places, you can check us out on Linktree. Linktree is a really cool site that lets you put all your links there for different things. So I believe we have it up there somewhere above me. That way.
Other way. There we go. Yep. To the point to your right, up and
You know,
up
it was
and
a
to the
good
right.
session because I actually forgot that we were streaming this.
There you go. Hey, great.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
But check out our Linktree link there, and you can find links to our Twitter, to our podcast on Podbean, our YouTube as well, and you can check us out there. And hey, if you like what we do and you want to support us, which would be great, we have a Patreon in the works that we are going to be unveiling.
Ooh,
That's a good
word.
word for it.
Yep.
In the near future, so stay tuned for that and look for that. And we would appreciate any support, even if it's just sharing this and watching this and liking it. Subscribe to us on YouTube, check us out on Podbean, and tell people to come and hang out with us as we play D&D and do nerdy things. But that's it for us tonight, so thanks for watching. See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.